resting soul needs nothing more. Silent tale spinning low, needles whisper secrets hum, time melts gently, comes undone, resting soul, the night has won. No clock, no rush, no fight, no storm. Soft glow holds me safe and warm. Resting soul, the quiet norm. Faded tune in the air.
And good morning. You're tuning in to WJOB AM 1230, 104.7 FM, Hammond, Indiana. It's Jed in the region, or better still, it's Verly and Michelle and Adriana in the region. How does that sound?
Good morning, everybody.
I was gonna say we need a name.
Yeah, no.
Oh God.
That way we won't be considered fill-in hosts. So we better come up with our own name, with our own logo in the back.
I mean, I have a logo for you. When Jen was like, "We gotta give Verly a podcast," I'm like, she doesn't want one.
No podcast. I need
But
something that's
we have that one
inclusive.
logo.
But I definitely need an inclusive logo.
I'll make you one, and whatever you want to call it, you let me know. We can think of names during the show.
Figure that out.
Well, first of all, of course, we're greeting you, but we want to get right to traffic and weather with our beautiful producer and co-host, Adriana Alvarez.
Thank you. I got to turn on that camera in a second, so it's just going to be my voice for right now. But let's take a look here at traffic and weather. Currently right now at the Shack and Van Til Studios, it's 65 degrees. Even though the sun is not out and it's making us think it's fall, it is still summertime with a high of 81 degrees today, lows of 59. Wednesday, seeing highs of 77, lows of 54. Thursday, highs of 80, lows of 56. All partly sunny and warm weather. We're not going to see very much rain, not until later on next week. So let's enjoy the sunshine while we have it before it gets into those colder weathers. Taking a look at our traffic. Traffic in the Northwest region is looking pretty good. We do have some traffic there right as you get to Willow Creek Road on Indiana East and West Tollway. Indiana East and West toll roads going east. So we're going to see a little bit of traffic headed that way. Klein Avenue, north and south are looking pretty good right now. Going into Chicago, we're seeing that the Skyway is looking pretty good, as well as Lakeshore Drive. Now, we do have an earlier accident on the Bishop Ford west before 111th Street, exit 66A. That was updated about 18 minutes ago, so we may see a little bit of traffic right there on the connector. Moving forward into the rest of the city, we're seeing a little bit of traffic there on the Stevenson Expressway going north right there by South Central Avenue. We're seeing a little bit of heavy traffic on the ramp from US 45 north on the Eisenhower Expressway going east. We have a little bit of traffic there, not too much. And then, of course, 94 going east right there on Addison Street is going to be a little bit heavy moving into this right up there by the airport. So that's all for your traffic and weather for today.
Well, thank you, Adriana. Definitely, we want to make sure that if there are any updates regarding traffic, if you're commuting either to Chicago or further east to Michigan City, let us know so that we can be up to date and give those traffic warnings right away so you can adjust. YouTube. So, Adriana, share with our listeners, and of course, Michelle usually comes in with a playlist, and she was very disappointed.
Oh, I am so sad. So sad.
So with our YouTube, Mike is there. We go.
Oh, also, before you go into that, though, I just got a text from a friend said radio's still playing old clip.
Oh, yep. Let me fix that. I got
So
you.
we're not live on the air.
Not yet.
We're live on YouTube, but we're not live on the air.
So we got to go
Let
back.
me
Okay.
open that up real quick. Here we go. Please be live. There we are. Now we are.
Okay,
But-
so we're going to do this all over because most of our listeners
Yeah.
tune in
We
via
got a
the
slow
radio.
start to this morning, all of us. So it's okay.
Well, the good part about it is Michelle and I both have coffee, but you don't drink, you don't partake. So
No.
we got to find what gets you going in the morning.
Well, right now I only like caffeine through like sodas and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I have right now because I did get like maybe for some reason I couldn't fall asleep last night.
Okay.
I got maybe 2 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
but I'm okay right now. We're gonna see what happens
it's
at
coming.
like 8 o'clock.
It's
Yeah,
out. You'll crash
But
later.
Yeah.
one thing that I drink instead of coffee is like hot chocolate,
Oh.
and that's like my little substitute.
All right, so next time I'll know. Bring you a hot chocolate.
There
But
you
we're
go.
gonna go.
I could do that traffic and
You know
weather
how they
again.
go back. We're going to wind this back
Right.
because we were on YouTube, but not on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to say good morning. This is Jed in the region. No, it's Michelle, Adriana, and myself, Verly Suggs. We are here in the morning doing the Tuesday morning shows. Of course, we're going to come up with our own themed logo. But you are tuning in to AM 1230, 104.7 FM, WJOB, Hammond, Indiana. We're going to go right to traffic and weather with an update from Adriana Alvarez.
Yep, so we're just going to do a quick little recap on our traffic and weather. So we're seeing just sunny weather. Even though it's dark outside, it is a false fall because it is still in those high 80s and 70 degrees. That's what we're seeing throughout this entire week. No change really, just a bunch of sunshine, some clouds with lows of 50s in the nighttime. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're seeing those high 80-degree weathers, lows of 50s. Taking a look at our traffic. Traffic's looking pretty good in the Northwest region. We may have a little bit of traffic right there on the Indiana East and West toll roads going east. On Willow Creek Road, Klein Avenue going north and south is looking pretty good. As you're headed into the city, the Skyways is looking pretty good, as well as Lakeshore Drive. We did have an earlier accident there on the Bishop Ford on the right as you get to the connector on 111th Street. It went away, so I guess they're cleaning it up right now. But you're seeing a little bit of slower traffic. That was about 20 minutes ago. And we see that going into the city right there on 94 West. And then as well, we do have a little bit of traffic there on Eisenhower Expressway going east on, let's see here, 25th Avenue. And then a little bit of traffic on Stevenson Expressway going north right there by South Central Avenue. So that's about it for your traffic and weather. If you have any updates, please give us a little chat on YouTube.
And also, if they want to, we were just going into explaining the whole new setup here.
Yes.
Because Michelle was unfamiliar. She was very disappointed to come in this morning and find out that we can't play her playlist.
No. Makes me sad.
So with YouTube guidelines, we are unable to play music because it's a copyright issue.
Yeah.
So if we want to go live on YouTube, which is going to be our new thing as we transition into moving away from JED TV and going straight into moving away from JED TV and going straight into YouTube. So YouTube is going to be our platform where you're able to see us as well as hear us on the radio. So the best thing about YouTube is that it has a very big archive system. So all of our stuff is on there, anything that goes live, and it stays there indefinitely unless we take it off.
Okay.
Now, the best thing about YouTube that people are seeing is that it alerts you when every show goes on live, as well as a chat feature. So people can send us messages through here if they can't get through the phone lines, or if they have a traffic update, they could just send it right then and there, and the producer can look over and they see it. So
tell us where they find it on YouTube.
You can go to WJOB 12. I forgot. YouTube has a different thing. So it's youtube.com/WJOB1230. So that is where you can find us. And from there, you're going to see all of the shows. Of course, some shows do have the music in the background. And that's just because, so when Jed would come in, he would play music right away. And kept telling us, we need the non-copyright music, but he hates it. He's like, it's elevator music. And I was like, yeah, but it's what we got to do to get monetized eventually.
I wonder if you are able to do AI music.
We might be able to.
Because I can't imagine that's copyrighted, so.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to do your own composing.
Yep.
Own producing of music now.
My brother can do that. My brother does that.
Oh, well, we'll have to have him do that. In the past, before you came here, Adriana, and we were on Facebook Live during the shows. That was our archival system back then. We also had those same issues with music. Whenever you played music that was copyrighted, they would kick us off the air.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why Jim didn't allow music, but also why he got off the Facebook platform, because he felt that he was giving them free content.
Sure.
But
sure.
To me, it's all based on free content, because people go onto Facebook and all these platforms because they want to see what's there.
Yeah.
So it sort of helps you out. It puts you out there where you become known.
Right.
So there's pluses and minuses to everything. YouTube, to me, seems like that was going back in time. Before Facebook, we had YouTube.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just going full circle.
Well,
there we are.
I don't mind the whole YouTube thing, because Archive's able to find stuff and it's recorded, and because I was sitting there thinking, oh God, should I otter the show this morning? Basically record it. Because it's a scary world out there these days, folks.
Well, so have you shared? So now you have to share this, because people were. Well, right now we are still on the JED app, right? So people can still view us there.
Okay.
People who in the past have been able to tune in. That's transitioning to just basically sports.
Yes.
But eventually we might not be on that platform. And so we need to let people know, such as your boo down in Atlanta, how to tune into his queen on Tuesday mornings.
Period. There we go.
Yeah, he's actually, he just over the weekend, he's back from Malaysia.
This man travels.
And, so he's like, well, I'll probably be up because the mind-bending jet lag. He's like, I was up at 4 yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's, we talked about, I think, the last time with the travel and how it's, it's draconian now because that's the way the government's making it. So they basically, have a day to travel, or how it's what, 30 hours to Malaysia?
From Atlanta.
Goodness.
Yeah, from Atlanta. From Atlanta, it's 15 hours to Seoul, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think it's 30 hours quite. It
Well,
might be close.
Yeah, but then,
20?
with a layover.
Oh, so his full trip.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
That's what I say. Being on
right,
a
it's
plane
not
for
30 hours in
hours.
flight.
Wow.
No.
I used to fly Delhi, and that was, a little over 15. And once the war started, it was about 17 hours.
Yeah.
But,
so yeah, he got into Seoul, and then he checks in. They have transit hotels, so he checks in, takes a nap, does whatever, and then I think it was 8 hours to Kuala Lumpur. So
yeah, I used to stop at Seoul as a layover on my way to Manila in the Philippines. So yeah, Seoul is quite that place.
yeah,
But, I think we do have callers, and we're going to invite
Oh.
people to call in at 219-845-1100. We're not going to keep the callers waiting as long as they may have had to wait in the past. Adriana's going to keep us up to date, but she's also our co-host, folks.
Yes.
That's right.
So she is included in the conversation.
Yes, she is the brains of the operation.
This gives me prepares me for Thursdays now.
Right, because she's doing her solo act on Thursdays.
I know. It's like, whoa, hold on.
Oh, boy. All right.
Yep.
Baptismal by fire. Let's go right to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, see, I think there's something wrong with our phone calls. So callers, if I accidentally hang up on you, it's not because I'm trying to. There's something that we got to tweak on here, so bear with us.
I think the callers that we've had to hang up on in the
second.
past don't really call anymore.
There we go. Now the caller's on.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
My favorite too.
Oh, thank you.
Hi.
Hi. Don't shoot the messenger, okay?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
What is it, Emmons?
I follow somebody from Gary. That's pretty interesting. And it says, so get ready. It's about to be on, like, getting fired is so freaking liberating. Thanks, D. Melton and Mike Suggs. I know we don't have to say the name, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And you don't have to explain it.
Definitely not. I don't get into HR.
We don't want to get into that.
Just from what you said, I can imagine who that could possibly be. Tell us about, so MX, tell people who just normally tune into a radio show what it means to follow somebody. Because they think they got this impression of you walking down the street following somebody. Share what following means.
When you go to Facebook, there are certain people that voice their opinion that have a lot of followers. And, the old saying is, what is it? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Right.
We're not enemies or anything, but it's very interesting that she burnt Frank Mervyn.
Now, you did give another clue away by saying she, so that actually let me know exactly who you're talking about.
You know what? If I was in the lineup, you couldn't shine the light on me because I'd tell the name right
you're
away.
You're going to spill your guts.
Hey, who
I don't even have to drip water on your head.
Right. Who painted that building? And I got red on my fingers, right? Red spray paint. But I think after she burnt Frank Mervyn so bad, now this is just my opinion, that she's going to run for congressman. What do you think?
I'd say that there's no chance that's going to happen.
Oh.
Come on, man. You ruined my day already.
Oh.
Well, you know what? I would say this to you. It didn't work out too well for Jennifer Ruth Green. But if you got money to throw down the drain like the Republican Party did back then, why not?
It is a free. We still have free elections. I think that would be amusing.
It would be entertaining for sure.
I love entertainment.
Yep.
I never made a cartoon of her. I don't think because I follow her, and anybody that runs for politics, I got tip my hat to him because it's crazy. So I'll let you go, and I seen you slip that green paper over there.
Well, yeah, because I honestly, I was like,
I had to
what
clue
are we
my
talking
co-host
about?
in.
There's
one.
more of a story there, apparently, which I was not aware of, but I saw that, and I'm like, oh my.
Check it out.
Okay.
Check it out, Michelle. It's getting interesting, and you can't really win the Congress seat unless you go through Gary, and they're going to redistrict. So I think this person has a really good chance of winning.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to vote for her. I'm going to vote for her.
Oh, good. You're going back to the Democratic Party at least.
There is nothing more than I love than friction.
Yeah.
Okay,
believe
thank
me,
you.
if you were gonna vote for an opponent to Frank Mervyn, I would definitely hope you vote for this individual because that is definitely a long shot.
Oh,
All right, I'm gonna let you go.
All right, enjoy the
Thank
rest
you.
of your
Bye-bye.
day.
You know what? I love entertaining. Entertainment. I don't really watch the late night shows like the whole fallout with
Right.
Jimmy Kimmel and all that. I
Right.
kind of miss that. So this morning, MX was like my comic relief. Thank you.
That what am I? Oh my! What am I missing?
Do we have any more
We have
callers?
2 more.
Okay, let's go right to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Verly and Michelle.
Yup.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Morning.
All right. Yeah, I had an interesting Saturday and then yesterday.
Okay.
I had to take a lady to go get tested Saturday. Well, we had 4 students we had to take to get tested in Portage. All
For
4 of them failed.
COVID?
Four of them
to
failed.
get their CD.
Oh,
CDL.
CDL.
Yes,
Okay.
CDL.
Okay.
4 of them failed Saturday. One of them.
What?
Well, listen to this. So Monday, I can't drive a semi because
No
because-
personnel issues to be disclosed, right? We're keeping
Well,
this general.
No, yeah, I'll say this because my wife chewed me out when I got home after I told her, because I always tell my wife everything, and then I get chewed out.
Uh-huh.
But anyhow, because women know how to chew out guys. Okay, and then oh gosh, sometimes I wish I won't tell her, but I do because if she'll find out one way or the other.
Okay, don't keep secrets.
But the thing is this lady, she lives right on Lake Street, close to you. Because when we were talking, going out there, because I got 38 minutes to try to get this girl calmed down to pass, and well, she failed again yesterday, and she copped an attitude right away. And as soon as she walked out of the door, she says, "That truck is a piece of S." And I'm thinking, oh my God. And she says, "I don't want to drive this truck." Well, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm here by myself. What do I do?
Wow.
So I've been driving my car around a little bit and doing pretty good. And the doctor gave me permission to drive. Well, so from Portage back to the yard, I drove the semi.
Okay.
Okay.
And I did good. Well, Saturday, my boss and my boss's son drove in my car because we dropped the truck off at the thing. And he says, if you wouldn't have told me that one eye is not as good as it is, he says, because first my boss wanted to drive my car. He didn't want me to drive. He says, man, if he says,
So
you
you
wouldn't.
better be careful because you don't want to get
Yeah.
that CDL suspended.
No, I won't, but, things are going. But enough on that deal, but let you know.
Yeah, let's move on. We don't
My
want
wife
you to self-implicate.
No, women chewed me out yesterday
Yeah.
because of
Good.
it. But the
Good
thing I
job,
want to ask you is when I was home yesterday eating my dinner, watching the local TV news media that I watch at 5 or 4. Okay, and Chicago, the mayor says we do not need the military here in Chicago because we are having peaceful protesting. Can you explain to me? I asked on the morning call with Tom Dabberton, you or the listeners to explain what is a peaceful protest. Is that standing in front of the vehicles, blocking entrances, causing trouble? A peaceful protest. Explain to me. I want an explanation of what is a peaceful protest.
So I will explain to you a peaceful protest, but first I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
On January 6th at the Capitol, would you have labeled how would you have labeled that protest?
Not a peaceful protest.
Okay. All right. So now that I know where you stand on that, then I will definitely say a peaceful protest is when people come together with a permit, because I think you need a permit to have a protest. So you're following the legal steps.
Well, I would disclaimer there. There are some. I think it depends on municipality because I know, for instance, the protests at 41 and Ridge Road, they do not need a permit.
Okay.
So
some places. So if it's required,
yeah,
then that you would have your permit.
yeah, that's the first thing
That
you do.
people come together for a common cause. That they carry signs. They do chants.
Right.
They do not obstruct traffic, because I think that's against people who are trying to get to work and wherever they're trying to go. But they voice their freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And their right to assemble.
Yep.
And not hinder other people from doing the same. That's
right,
what
but
I consider a peaceful protest.
But a peaceful protest, is it to block like if people were protesting that radio station and blocking your two little entries into that station, and you can't get to the station and get in there to operate the station, is that a peaceful protest that you can't have the station operating because you can't get into the studio?
So let me ask you a question before I answer that.
Yeah.
I know you're not in a union, but
I was years ago.
Right,
I was.
So you have been a union worker. When a
Yes,
union goes on strike and the company hires people to work so that they can still continue to provide their services, and union workers are out there with their big rat and protesting and blocking the entrance, would you call that peaceful?
Well, no, but when Torrance Avenue Ford plant was on strike, I videotaped it, and I have the videotapes of it.
Okay.
When they were picketing and protesting, I got videos of all three areas of Torrance Avenue. They were not blocking no entrances. Mm-hmm. That's a peaceful protest.
That is a peaceful
picket.
Exactly, and that's where I was going. That to me is a peaceful protest. You're having an issue with your company. You're on strike. You're protesting that they're hiring people coming in. But when you start knocking heads, when you start shooting at those truckers who are coming in, who are, as they use that term I hate, scabs, then that is not a peaceful protest.
The jacks, the barbed wire jacks that they throw underneath the tires.
Yeah, that is not a peaceful protest. So there's so many different types of protests, and if you're a union worker and you're on strike, you feel you have the right to protest outsiders coming in and taking your jobs, but that's not peaceful. So
right,
people would
because
complain about other people blocking streets and all this stuff and call them, not peaceful protesters, but then when they look at it from their perspective on something that they stand for, then they think it's okay.
Yeah, I just can't understand this because, okay, you protest, okay? Like they go up to Day Plaza or they go somewhere, they protest, or in the parks, like my wife said, in the parks, okay? But, when I'm watching the TV news media of Chicago, and they're showing people standing in front of cars trying to push them from coming in, Is that peaceful? That's not peaceful.
That's not peaceful to me. I like that you said Daly Plaza because I think that's a great location for protests, people to have their protests.
Yeah, I was in the union, so which I like the unions because simple reason when some of these places are on strike, like there was a company here that I passed by every day, a roofing company that was on strike, and they had their little thing set up, but they were not blocking the roads.
But let me ask you this.
And I did not object to that.
Let me ask you this, Michelle.
Yeah.
What is a response to a protest that you consider not peaceful? How do you think it should be responded to?
Or to a not peaceful
to a protest like where they're blocking streets or blocking entrances? Because to me, when law enforcement starts throwing tear gas and knocking heads and knocking senior citizens over like they're doing, to me, that is not an appropriate response to that sort of protest. Now, when on January 6th, that response was appropriate because those people came in with violence in mind.
Yep.
So you have to have to look at the.
It has to meet the. You have to meet the moment.
Exactly.
So
yeah, well, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna let you get all your other callers in and let you guys enjoy your morning. It's nice. My boss says now I'm semi-retired because I'm doing good now. And
well, good.
and I'm kind of helping out a little bit more at the place now because I don't think I want to be home every day because my wife will get tired of me. And my wife and dog get tired of me being home, but women have a way with guys. Whoo!
Okay,
you know, I mean,
we don't want you to dig yourself into the dog's house. So thank you for your call.
Yeah, and everybody out there, you and Michelle and what's her name, the producer, Adriana, all the listeners and everybody, just have a wonderful and a safe day today.
Yeah, keep on, man.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care.
So, Michelle, finish your response to regarding protests and how the response.
Well, again,
this is happening right now.
Yeah,
hear from Adriana.
Yeah, it has to meet the moment. You know, I think back at the beginning of the year when Matt Kaplan was arrested, and you know there was a protest that was up there on 12 and 20, not 12 and 20.
It was over by the airport.
Yeah.
Right,
and
over by right on Airport Road, used to be Industrial Highway.
Right. So they were, I guess they were walking on the street. But you also think of Airport Road. That's not exactly a busy thoroughfare. It really, I mean.
It will be. FedEx is coming there.
Well, yeah. But, you know, thinking about in January, it's not a particularly, you know, and it wasn't a massive protest, you know, like you're seeing in Chicago where it's thousands of people. You know, you got 20, 30, 40 people, you know, but they came in and they, you know, arrested.
And when we say they came in, that was the Gary Police Department actually arrested
right,
him.
And they came in and they're, you know, flinging people around and arresting them. It's like, okay, isn't that a little bit, you couldn't just, you know, show up and be stern, you know, you get off the road and, you know, wait there. And I'm sure that, or, you know, as I was told, yes, there were people that were being mouthy to the officers. And, I mean, that's always such a hard thing because, you know, I get it when someone's mouthy to me. I get mad. But I am also, well.
You get mad, I get even.
Well. Well, but I'm thinking about it and it's like, okay, why do you have to, you know, why do you need to get physical with people?
Right.
You know, even if they're not spitting at you, if they're not, you know, causing you direct harm, if they're just, you know, MFing you or whatever, I don't, as much as you want to, you know, take their lights out, I just, that's so hard, but I'm not law enforcement, so.
So, Adriana, let's hear how you feel about the question about protest types and responses.
I always saw peaceful protest as people that are in the streets that usually are occupied by cars, but they have blocked off the streets so people can protest. That's what I always saw a peaceful protest as. Now, I saw people that are protesting and stopping ICE from coming into Chicago and like leaving their cars and all that from the ICE facilities. I don't know if it was law enforcement or if it was ICE. I don't know which one it was because those are two different things. You're going to have the city the city police, and then you're going to have the ICE agents. They didn't throw something that was tear gas, but it was a pepper ball. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That kind of just makes people cough to like go away.
Burn their eyes.
Once you throw something,
yep,
that's when I feel it does not become peaceful anymore. And I think that's why a lot of protests, they're having people not have signs with sticks on them. Because you can easily just take that off, use it as a weapon. So for the one national protest that's happening on the 18th, I can imagine that,
Is that the No More Kings?
Yep, that's another one that they're going to do. And I can imagine that they are going to block off some streets. The location for that one is near Maggie Daley Park for that one. So I can imagine that, yes, a non-peaceful protest, how I view it, is that there are going to be streets blocked off because you need somewhere people can walk. And that ensures that not only are the protesters safe from drivers, but also that the drivers are safe from protesters. It goes both hand in hand. And I also see them where the police officers are walking alongside them with like their bicycles. Just to make sure that they keep them in a secluded area, but they're still allowed to voice their opinions. That's how I see a peaceful protest. Moment you throw something, regardless if it could be literally somebody's shoe, because people are dramatic. We are dramatic human beings. You're going to see something thrown, and you're going to think, okay, I got to get out of Dodge. Like, I'm done. But that's also kind of sad because that's the world we live in. The moment you see something thrown, you think the worst. You think, okay, panic, let's go. Like, fight or flight sets in.
Well, thank you for sharing your opinion. Do we have another caller?
We do, but let's take a break.
I know it's break time, and when we come back, we're going to take the caller, and then we're going to get into one of our topics, which is immigration and the response and everything that's going on, not just here locally, but, of course, in Chicago and around the country. We'll be back. And welcome back to JED in the region here on WJOB.
We got to change the name.
We definitely have to change the name because if you look around the studio, there's no JED. There's myself, Verly Suggs, my co-host, Michelle Quinn, my co-host, Adriana Alvarez, and this is the morning show. As it is on Tuesday mornings. Of course, you're tuning into AM 1230 and 104.7 FM, Hammond, Indiana. And we're going to go right to traffic and weather with an update from Adriana Alvarez.
Currently, right now, at the Shocking Vento Studios, it is warming up just a little bit. It is 64 degrees. Today, we're seeing highs of 81, lows of 59 degrees, warm, plenty of sunshine. And that same feeling is going to move into the rest of the week with Wednesday, highs of 77 degrees, lows of 54, sun throughout, and high clouds and, oh, that is a weird sentence, sun through high clouds and warm.
Okay.
There's some sense and structure there. And then on Thursday, highs of 80 degrees and lows of 56, partly sunny and warmer weather. And then let's take a look at our traffic. So traffic in the northwest region is looking pretty good. Still a little bit of traffic right there on Willow Creek Road on Indiana East and West Tollway going east. We are seeing that. Let's take a look here. Klein Avenue going south and north are looking pretty good. We're seeing that 90 is looking pretty good just when you get up to that area. Moving into the city, Chicago Skyways going east and west are looking pretty good. Lakeshore Drive is looking good. We still have a little bit of traffic right there on the Bishop Ford at the connector with the Dan Ryan, and that was because of an earlier accident this morning. It's cleared up, but we're going to still see some traffic headed that way. We're also seeing some slow traffic on the Stevenson Expressway going north right there on South Central Avenue, as well as going south there on Cicero Avenue. We're seeing a little bit of traffic build up there. Eisenhower Expressway going east and going west. We're seeing a bit of heavy build up there on Central Avenue and Austin Boulevard. Other than that, we're still going to have that traffic headed towards the airports right there on 94 east and west. And that's about it for your traffic and weather.
Thank you, Adriana. We're going to take our phone call, and then we're going to get to one of our
phone
topics.
call left.
Oh, sorry, caller.
So straight to the topic.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to share this with you and see if you're interested. America needs you. Now, Michelle, you're pretty young, but you don't probably do you remember the signs of Uncle Sam pointing his finger?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Yeah.
Are you
I've
familiar
seen
with that,
those,
Adriana? Okay.
Yeah.
So
That was like World War II?
yes. World War II, I think, was the first time that came out, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was getting people, well, they were drafted automatically.
Right.
But some people did sign up on their own.
Right.
So America needs you. America has been invaded by criminals and predators. We need you to get them out. You do not need an undergraduate degree. You can come right out of high school, folks.
All right.
You may be entitled up to these benefits. Now, here are the benefits for this job.
Okay.
I'm not saying what the job is, but America needs you.
There's a bunch of those.
Yeah.
What it could be.
There's a $50,000 signing bonus, folks.
Wow.
I'm out here, I'm sharing this. Student loan forgiveness, up to $60,000 of student loan forgiveness.
Oh, how about
they're
that?
paying for
I'm
those
done.
college loans.
You are in the wrong career,
I
my
guess
friend.
so.
Right. All the people out there who don't believe that the federal government should forgive your student loans.
Yeah.
I paid mine, you pay yours.
Yep.
Well, this is the job that'll pay it for you, folks. And a 25% premium pay. Choose your mission. Well, guess what the mission is?
Wait, when you said choose your mission, that just sounded like a 90s video
Adventure
game.
clubs, yeah.
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 Adventure.
Choose your mission.
Yes. There's no cost to apply for this position.
Wow.
They are looking to hire, so you might get hired on the spot.
Hey, and then you could get on like YouTube and everything, like the group of them that were chasing the guy.
Well, see,
on
we
the
haven't
bike.
said what the job is yet.
Oh,
We haven't shared that yet, Michelle.
Oh,
you're
sorry.
jumping the gun.
I'm sorry.
So to speak, jumping
Sir.
the gun. But
Oh, I wouldn't be
this
surprised
job,
if
to me, means that you can go round up little ladies that are out there selling tamales on the corners in Chicago. You can go to Millennium Park and round up a family that's out there with their 2 young children enjoying a day because daddy just got paid. And we have a little extra money to take our kids to a free park in Chicago.
Right.
You can round them up and send them to a center at O'Hare Airport or at a detention center somewhere else across the country.
Yep.
This job means you can go to churches where mass is in Spanish and wait outside the door. And if somebody looks like they don't belong here because they don't look like you,
Right.
you can round them up. This job means that people who are of Hispanic or African American or Asian can be taken. I had a girlfriend yesterday who said to me, you know what? She's born in this country. She says, I told my husband, what I have to walk around with my birth certificate now to prove that I'm a citizen?
Yep.
But this job means you can do all of the above.
You can take women. You could be in court and you could slam women to the ground if they don't touch you.
And
you didn't see that one?
And the man, 70-some years old, who's out there, knock him to the side. Well, this is an ICE agent, folks, and it does not mean that you are at the ice house cutting blocks of ice so fishermen can come and fill their ice chest with it.
I wish that's what a nice agent meant.
ICE means Immigration Control Enforcement. This is the job. They are heavily recruiting. And people are okay with this? That's why they're protest all across the country. Because of this job.
I would say that's the main reason. That's the main reason for protest.
That is the main reason. There are, of course, other reasons for protest.
There's so many reasons, but that's the main. That's the main one.
How do people who enlist in the armed forces, and we all know that their pay is pretty pitiful, and you know that when they're, okay, I know that, some of the more decorated officers, they're fine. But, the regular rank and file, they have the VA, which is, constantly cut. And, so health care, it is what it is. But how do you feel you're going to serve your country, and this is what you get when you could go be an ICE agent and be, bringing in 6 large?
Oh, yeah. You get all your medical benefits.
Yeah.
401k.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do people who enlist in the Army get this?
No.
Yeah, they get medical benefits.
No, do they
don't
get the 50,000 sign-on bonus?
No. And there have been cases where there were signing bonuses for joining different branches of the military.
Okay.
So when numbers are low and they need to bring people in fast, they do at times offer.
Right. Is it 50K?
And it's not signing; it's called enlistment. An enlistment incentive might be available. Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
But is it 50K enlistment incentive?
Is this a job you really want? That's my question. Is this a job? How do you go and round up a family enjoying a day in the park, handcuffing the daddy, taking the mother and the children? How do you do that?
How about the one last week where they had the little 5-year-old autistic girl out there with them, and the parents are in the house, and they're, hey, we got your daughter, a 5-year-old autistic child. Hey, you could come get her. Come out and get her.
How do you consciously do this? I don't understand it.
Well,
I really don't understand.
Well, I would venture that when, things are real expensive like they are now, it's hard to get a house. Groceries are obnoxious. Everything seems to be, it hasn't gone down, and it doesn't look like it's going down any time soon. I would imagine you do that. Well, there was a South Park episode.
Okay.
Have you seen it, Adriana?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't been watching South Park. I've seen clips here
Okay.
and there, and they make my day.
Yeah.
Because they're so outlandish, and I'm happy that they don't care if they're going to have the government looking at them.
Yeah, the 1.5 billion. I'm sure that's that's what do they call that? FU money. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, their contract
They're the creators?
Yeah, for re-upping was 1.5 billion.
Wow.
So that's,
And all they had to do is come up with some little funny-looking creatures and some great storylines.
Right, but anyway, one of their opening episodes was Counselor Mackey. Yes, he gets fired for being a counselor, or from his job as the counselor. So
a school counselor?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the school counselor.
Okay.
Is he particularly effective? No, but he's what they had. They end up firing him, and he's like, he goes to the bank, and he's like, what am I going to do? And, it's about making your nut. That's the whole premise of the episode. And actually, that episode was taken off because of the Charlie Kirk connection. But anyway.
They said that Charlie Kirk liked his portrayal on South Park.
He probably did. It was funny. But anyway, so they say, or, the banker suggests to him, hey, you can become an ICE agent. And so Mackie becomes an ICE agent and they go to there's a Dora the Explorer performance at a big stadium, and you got people coming in, and that's the one where Christy Nome, her face, keeps melting off of her body. And I mean, there's a whole lot going on there, but it's all about making your nut.
So tell me what making your nut means.
Making enough money to live.
Oh, that's what it means.
Making enough money to live, maybe not even so much making enough money to live, but making enough money to be a baller.
Okay. All right. See, I learned something new. Did you know what it meant, Adriana?
I did not.
Okay.
That's my understanding of it. So it's like the whole thing was about making your nut. And this other one of the kid that was supposed to be portraying the Charlie Kirk character, because it was actually Eric Cartman who was Charlie Kirk. But there was another, if you can imagine that. But there was another kid that was doing the same thing, the whole Charlie Kirk shtick. And he's just, he's just like, I'm just trying to make my nut.
This
and
is
he's so
interesting because I
exhausted.
thought it had something to do with men. So I did not know that, and that's exactly what it means. A person has the money that they need to pay their bills that are due.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, a squirrel with a nut.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but that's, when things are terrible,
you're willing to
crime
do.
goes up. Yeah, crime goes up, right? You see a lot more when you can't afford to get stuff. Do people steal more? Yeah, do people steal more? Do people get involved in crime more?
What do they say? It's opportunity based, right? If the opportunity exists, but
Isn't that
that's horrible to me.
opportunity exists? Yes, and people who are claiming to be ICE agents are seizing their opportunity by kidnapping people on the street and not saying this is like my badge number, this is my name and all that.
I'm going to wear my mask. Yeah, we can wear a mask.
Because that's what the government said that was okay to protect their identities. But you don't realize that that is a perfect getaway for those who are doing human trafficking. That they could just like take somebody and be like, yeah, you're getting deported. I have my papers. Doesn't matter. You're getting deported. So. Yeah,
Saturday night I walked in and I chuckled at the irony of this. I went to a local festival that was going on near my place, and the big sign on the fence around the public park. Let me get started on that again. But no face coverings. Oh, no face coverings. Okay, what you can't go into a park with, so if I'm sick or if I have cancer and I want to go out and, get some fresh air, I can't walk into the park because if I have a face mask on, am I not allowed to do that?
So let me ask you a question about that, because I can look at that two ways. As far as law enforcement, well, that little sign would mean nothing to them because they don't have to comply with that.
Right.
So are people wearing face coverings to hide their identity so that they're not picked up by ICE, or what is the whole significance of that? Or is it to commit a crime and not have anyone know who you are? What was the impetus behind that?
I'm kind of wondering if it's also because, masks are unallowed because, it's not COVID and that's un-American or whatever nonsense they...
It's not COVID? I just got my vaccination yesterday.
Yeah, I was excited. I got mine... What was it, last week?
Is there another one?
Yes.
Yeah,
There's another one?
You're too young, I think.
No, there was all sorts of, we were going to...
I think I have like 3.
Okay, I think I'm on...
I think on this one, they put an age that you could get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't think they're not, it's supposed to be 65 and up, but
But
if
you're
you-
younger than that, so
Right.
you got it.
Right, but if you have, well, yeah, I didn't wait because I it was about the time that they were supposed to be debating it. Well, it's 65 and up, but unless you have some sort of underlying condition.
Right.
And all I know is that I walked in to pick up a prescription and I saw that they had them, and she's like, "Do you want it?" And I said, "Yes, please," because I'm
Perfect.
thinking, if you're offering it to me, please, can I have 2?
Yeah. And Walgreens, for those people who are out there and who are interested, Walgreens is actually doing them right now.
Yeah, CVS is too.
And CVS. So you can go to one of the local. Now, they said that Indiana was late in deciding to allow it.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
people were rushing to try and get prescriptions from their doctors.
Yeah, because
they were afraid that Indiana was not going to permit it at all. But eventually, they came after Illinois, a few weeks after Illinois.
Okay.
And now you can go and get it for free if
Yeah.
you're an Indiana resident.
I was shocked because usually I wait until, I would wait until now. Yeah, so, okay, this was like 2 weeks ago then. So usually I wait until October to get my flu and my COVID, together. But I figured, hey, they're offering it to me. Well, please, But I'll tell you what, that hurt this time. Worse than I
It didn't
remember.
hurt me. My arm is sore, but I wouldn't have noticed it was sore until I touched it.
Yeah, I was miserable.
Really?
And I know that they hurt. I know that they do, but I was just like, I'm generally pretty tough, but I was after a while. I'm like, all right, I got to take me some Tylenol. I got to give myself some autism, so because this hurts, man.
Wow. Well, interesting enough, Adriana, you said you've had 3.
Yes, I've had 3 COVID shots.
So that just shows you that the hoax that people want to claim COVID was.
I think that it drives me insane, and maybe it drives me a little bit more insane than others because I lost somebody to COVID like that. It was way too fast for anyone's liking, especially mine, because it happened in a span of 2.5 months.
Wow.
And there was a surge, so you thought they were getting better, and then phew, did not, and that. To me, so when people say COVID's fake, COVID's a hoax, you didn't. I believe that those who say that COVID are not a hoax did not have to see somebody die right in front of them,
Exactly.
Yeah.
or believe that all of these people that are dying. Oh no, doesn't matter. They were already sick. They were dying of old age. You had children dying. You had those who did not have any pre-existing conditions dying because of this disease, and it was because either that they didn't have the resources available to them, they didn't have insurance, or they didn't have appropriate health care to
Well, it was
go to the
free,
hospital.
but a lot of people also just didn't believe it. Because there was a guy there yesterday, and he's like, talking to my husband, are you getting Moderna or Pfizer? He says, my ex-wife, she lives in Florida. And he said, all those people down there were saying, oh, we're not getting it. Oh, it's a
Okay.
hoax. And then they all start dying,
Okay.
That's like with parents that do not want to vaccinate their children right away.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, there's a fear with parents that do vaccinate their children and don't. So, for instance, me and my brother have been vaccinated. And when we were younger, we had gotten the chickenpox vaccine. We did not get chickenpox as a child. And
Right.
my mom has the fear that even though, yes, we do have the vaccine, and it's supposed to not allow you to get it, people still get it sometimes, even though you have
Sure.
the vaccine. And it's worse for adults when you get it
Yes.
as an adult opposed to as when you get it as a child. So she has that fear that even though, yes, me and my brother did not get chickenpox as a child, we'll get it later on. But she hopes that the vaccine will make it to where it's not as
and
impactful
that's the
without
point.
it.
That's exactly the point. I was 30 when I got the varicella or the chickenpox vaccine. And it's a series of 2 of them, 6 weeks apart, because I never had chickenpox as a kid.
So that was smart that you went ahead and got the vaccine.
Yeah, so
Because I had chickenpox as a child. And the thing about it, your generation won't have a chickenpox scar. Like most people you see have some scar that's left behind because they pull the scab off a chicken pox.
Apparently, when I was in like second grade, there was a kid in my class that, because we sat in alphabetical order, there was a kid in my class next to me that they were sick because they got chicken pox. They told all the parents in the class, hey, this child has gotten chickenpox. Because for something like that, you want to be aware if a child has gotten sick with something
highly
of that.
Contagious.
Yeah, something highly contagious. Apparently, I didn't know this until my mom had told me about years later that she was hoping that I got it. So as a child, I would deal with it as a child, so I wouldn't have to deal with it later on as an adult. She calls her best friend, and she's like, some little kid got chickenpox in Adriana's class. If she gets it, bring your kids over. We're having sleepovers.
Oh, my
Everybody
God.
lick off the same lollipop so they can get it, too.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you're having a contagious party? She's like, yeah, so you guys can get it, and then we don't have to worry about it later on. And I didn't realize, like, why would you do that to your children until I realized when you're older, it's worse.
And I agree, because I remember it whipped through my neighborhood, and this was when my parents were in Hawaii. So I was with my horrible, horrible grandmother that hated me.
Oh, my
She was
goodness.
babysitting me. And
At least she didn't drown you or something.
no, but anyway, but it was through the neighborhood. She wouldn't let me go play with everybody. I mean, I don't know whether that was because she didn't want to deal with me getting sick or what, but, everybody else is out there, playing with their chicken pox, and I'm in the driveway. I can't go hang out. And everybody's like, waving. So is she signaling
I have
to us?
two callers.
Oh,
on the
okay.
line.
Oh, that's what that means. All right.
I'm sorry. I was looking
No,
down
it's
because
okay. I was going to say, we have to
there's
take
so
a
many
break in 4
childhood
minutes.
illnesses that children no longer get because measles, mumps, chickenpox.
Oh, my mom, I don't know where I got it from, but because as you get older, you're allowed to see your health records and all that stuff.
Right.
And, you making your own first doctor's appointment. I'm like, okay, well, let me see my health records. And you see all the shots and everything. And apparently as a child, I got scarlet fever. And I was like, Mom,
really?
what is this old disease that I got? That's 1800. She was just like, yeah, I don't know how you got that or whatever. They labeled it as that when you were younger. You're here now, you're fine. And I was like, okay. I'm like, you didn't give me Tylenol, so that's
you
fine.
for life. Yeah,
That's a strep. I think that's a strep.
which is another topic to talk about. Tylenol versus the actual name of the
Causation
drug.
versus correlation.
Yeah.
We have 3 callers
All
on
right.
the line. So,
So do we have to take a break now, or can we take the callers?
one caller because one
Okay.
caller's been on the line for
Okay.
a little while now.
Definitely.
We'll take one caller and then we will take a break.
Good morning, caller. You're on
Whoop.
the air.
Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning, Billy and Michelle.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you
How are
doing,
you?
Dave?
Good. I'm, of course, just listening to the news and listening to you, you three, and hello, Adriana.
Hello.
And I am just kind of sitting down, taking some notes about the whole ICE thing and the recruitment for ICE agents. And this is all a show. This is all a show for 2 reasons.
Okay.
One to intimidate, and 2 to get us accustomed to seeing troops in the street.
Yes, absolutely.
It's to desensitize us for election time.
Yeah.
When there's states and cities, or when states and cities are put in a situation that they can't vote. So I looked at Washington, right, when the ICE was there. They were around the mall. They weren't where the crime is,
Right.
right? Look at
taking a stroll
Chicago.
through the
They're taking boats down the Chicago River. The last time I
saw
looked,
that. Yeah.
that's
That
not
is
a river they were swimming across.
Right,
Okay?
exactly.
And
Exactly. It's not the Rio
I
Grande.
didn't think they were
Exactly.
any
And-
criminals on the boats.
You have troops around the Bean and walking down Michigan
Yeah.
Avenue. Why aren't they in Inglewood or, the far side where the crime is?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to interact because this is all a dog and pony show.
Well, they don't want
and-
to interact in Inglewood because they might actually be out. What is it called when people have more guns than you?
Outmanned.
Outmanned.
Yep.
Yeah,
They might
outgunned.
actually be in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners here, are, no matter what I say, I could say it's light out, they're going to say it's dark out, right?
Right.
And it, at least -1. So,
Oh, you mean one of our listeners is no longer On the circuit?
The only time the guy's ever listened, right? Don't call that show.
Oh, wow. Now he actually has to listen, yeah.
Right, so, we get, and then now they're being sent to Washington State and Oregon.
Yeah, Portland.
Because the senator is openly against the president. And this, the president, he's all about retribution. You look at, he went after, the only reason he's trying to get the numbers, because it's all about numbers with him, right? It's all about numbers. He's arresting these people that are not criminals to get his numbers up so he can beat Barack Obama, because President Obama deported more people than any other president. Okay? Like it or not, those are the statistics.
Right.
And so he wants to beat him because Barack Obama absolutely humiliated him at the Correspondents' Dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, completely emasculated him, eviscerated him, right? He's also going, remember when he first got back in, he wanted to get the Panama Canal back because he hates Panama.
Greenland
Because
Panama
foreclosed on one of his properties in Panama. This is all about retribution. In Canada, I want Canada because Melania, the first lady, had made a smile and a hug to Trudeau, who Barron happens to look more like Trudeau than Donald J. Trump. But
he's not a bad-looking guy at all.
Right. The only one I get all those, that's retribution. I'm going to come after you. I'm going to use the might and the power in the U.S. military to come after you. And and that's pretty transparent, which you kind of know his character there. I don't get Greenland. That's the one thing, I think, because the Queen made fun of him at one time. So now I want Greenland, which is a territory of Denmark, I believe.
Isn't it strategic, though?
I thought that.
Oh, absolutely, it is. So I'm thinking he's going to take Greenland so he can give it to his buddy Vladimir, the KGB colonel.
Indeed.
Right. So these things are so transparent, and he runs more on fear and retribution. After Charlie Kirk was murdered, allegedly, this is a perfect opportunity for him to bring the country together. But he doesn't want the country together. He wants the separation. It's the whole divide and conquer. He has his 37% base that'll do anything for him, right? And it's clear, January 6th, that they would do anything for him. So, I don't think anyone ever thought he would be presidential. So I think this is just kind of, for right now, for the next couple of years, this is the new normal. But do not be desensitized by troops in the street. That's what he wants. These ICE agents are his private army. And I'm wondering how many of these alleged agents, in air quotes, are people that he commuted their sentence, right, and pardoned from January 6th.
Well, you'll never know because they wear masks.
Yeah. Well, here's... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. Thanks.
No, what I was going to say is, here's my question. Based on his recent performances on TV, the man's head is pudding. I'm sorry, folks. It's the truth. The man can barely, y'all talked about Biden with his dementia and all that. Y'all aren't looking. So who's running the show?
You're not looking because his speech to the UN
and
then his speech for Charlie Kirk. I mean, if you don't see this man as
also who cannot
out of control.
That's one thing. His speech has been a topic, and how he talks to individuals and how he talks to groups of people that are of importance. My main thing with the whole Tylenol, and I know we're going to get into it later.
Yeah.
I would imagine that they give him this paper before going on national television, and he probably didn't read it at all, and they didn't think to tell him,
I think even Biden knew it enough to read, read the paper in front of him.
He couldn't say acetaminophen, and he looked at it and he was like, ACE. Well, now that's a word. I'm like, you are our national leader. You would think you'd have enough sense to read it beforehand.
But even if you couldn't read it, you should know the name of.
He couldn't pronounce hydroxychloroquine either. He couldn't pronounce that word either. But Tylenol is a brand. And
And it is a brand, exactly.
it's a brand,
cause.
like Kleenex or Lazy Boy. It's a Chevy, Ford. It's a seat of medicine. I mean,
Exactly.
and I
You can
wish
buy the
people would.
generic brand
Yeah.
of it at the dollar store for $125.
Yep.
It's still the
But
same
that's not going
medication.
to cause you autism. It's just Tylenol.
Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah, exactly.
but Dave, we appreciate your call,
Thank
and
you
we
so
all
much.
remember
Thanks,
what happened when they had the Tylenol,
Yeah, the Tylenol murders
the
a zillion
murders
years ago.
as a result. Now
and,
you're going to
and
bash this name again.
that was Chicago. That was Chicagoland based too.
Yes.
That started here. Great, ladies. Thank you.
Thank
Yep,
you
see you
so
later,
much.
man.
Bye.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back.
Yeah.
We're going to shift our
I was
topic
gonna
a
say
little
that
and take those callers.
Before we shift those topics, there's two things I want to bring up when we come back.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
There was one thing about the whole immigration thing, and then there's another thing when he had mentioned President Obama. There's something I want to bring up because I saw something, and I just want to know if it's true or not. These statistics.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was still a little too young to remember
Sure.
President Obama's he had 2 terms back to back.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the normal way it's done, Adriana. Back to back. You get a second term, it's usually back.
So I
to
saw
back.
something and I'd like to share it, and I just would like to know if all of these are true or if, of course, you can't believe everything you see on the internet.
Right.
So,
All right.
Okay.
We're going to be right back. Let's
Yep,
take
yep.
a little break, and we will see you guys in a second.
And good morning. Welcome back to JED in the Region. I'm Verly Suggs, my co-hosts Michelle Quinn and
there.
Adriana Alvarez.
Good morning.
You're tuning in. This is 12:30 a.m. and 104.7 FM WJOB. And of course, the phone number 219-845-1100 if you'd like to weigh in on any of the things that we've discussed this morning, as well as whatever's on your mind. We're going to be shifting gears here shortly, but we're going to take a caller after the traffic and weather update, and then Adriana is going to give her thoughts on some of the things we've already discussed this morning.
Yep. So currently right now at the Strachan Van Til Studios, it is still 64 degrees today. We're seeing those high temperatures. We're not getting to fall anytime soon, I don't think. We're seeing high temperatures of 80 degrees for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Lows in the high 50s. And it's just plenty of sunshine and cloud. We're seeing this regularly throughout the rest of the week and into the next week. It's not going to get into the low 70s. We're still at those 80-degree temperatures. Looking at traffic and weather, we're seeing that traffic in the northwest region is looking pretty good. We don't see a lot of heavy traffic at all. Maybe a little bit on Klein Avenue going north and going south. But other than that, moving into the city, we're seeing a little bit of traffic right there on the connector right there at the Bishop Ford and Dan Ryan. Because of the earlier accident that was this morning, they're cleaning it up right now. But that is going to cause a little bit of traffic as you head up into the city on 94 West. And you have traffic 94 West and 94 East and West. You're going to see that traffic all the way through, especially right there by the airports. And then we also have an accident on Tri-State I-294 South at East St. Charles Road that's backed up to West Grand Avenue. That was updated about 9 minutes ago. As well as another accident on the Tri-State I-294 South at 31st Street. That was updated about 9 minutes ago. So that's going to cause a lot of traffic right there on the Eisenhower Expressway going east and going west. As well as we still have traffic on the Stevenson Expressway going north right there. The height of the traffic is at Cicero Avenue. So that's all for your traffic and weather.
So let me ask you this, Adriana. Since you've been doing the traffic and you have evolved, feeling more comfortable naming these highways and byways, have you driven any of them?
Yes, I have. I don't call the highways by their names, mainly because that's not how I grew up learning them, because I always just heard, okay, yep, the highway, let's go on the highway, or go this way, go on the highway. I didn't know the Bishop Ford Dan Ryan until I started working here, because I just always called it the highway. I've driven on these multiple times, going to Chicago, coming from Chicago, going in different areas around the Chicagoland region. And driving around here in Northwest Indiana, I've driven on the highways multiple times. I think I didn't drive on the highways right away when I got my license at 16 because I was a little scared of them.
Oh, definitely not.
So I remember I first driven on the highway because I was going to be late to my first job interview. And I was like, you know what? I have to bite the bullet. I have to get on the highway because if not, I'm going to be late. And I did it, and then after that, I was like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Okay, so now you were able now to look back and say, okay, so that highway I was on going to Indianapolis is I-65, and
yes,
this one going to the Chicago Bulls Stadium was the Stevenson, and, all that you've been able to associate.
Yes,
now.
As I drive more and more into the city, and that's just because of going out to different places with my friends, now that majority of us are 21, we're able to go out and enjoy the bars and go out to the different clubs and all that. We're able to enjoy that now, and also go to concerts, because that's one thing. I didn't go to my first concert until I was 20. I don't think, because it was one thing that there wasn't a lot of concerts that I want to see as a younger kid.
Sure.
Of course, if you're gonna go to Disney on Ice with your family and all that, you're gonna go see all those.
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah,
like on South Park.
But the first concert I went to, it was oh my goodness, I'm forgetting their Esla Bonamando. He played at Rosemont Theater, so that was the first one that I went to. It was a Spanish singer, and then from there, as I started working more and I was able to buy my concert tickets that I wanted to, I was like, okay, so now this month I'm going to two concerts. I went to another concert a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, this is great. And I can go now by myself and with friends and all that, because I am I feel like I'm old enough. Okay, yay, I can go.
Yeah, but now you're probably man, we should have taken the South Shore in, because
well,
parking will kill you.
That is one thing. I'm realizing now how much how expensive parking is, but thank God the Spot Hero.
Oh, definitely. You'll find a spot for you and pay
Yeah,
online and everything.
That's this big. Try to make sure you take a smart car.
Yeah, I went to Wrigleyville and I found now know why it was a $5 parking spot.
Oh, wow.
But you know what?
We
made
paid
it
a
work.
lot to park at Wrigleyville
Oh, yeah.
too long
We
ago.
made it work.
So guess who the act is going to be for the Super Bowl? Does everybody know?
I
Yes,
know.
I know.
Okay.
He's hilarious. I'm
I
sorry.
love him.
When he's on Saturday Night Live, are you kidding me?
So we are talking about Bad
Bad Bunny.
Bunny.
Well, first, let's get to our
Puerto
caller.
Rican superstar.
Yeah.
But we will talk about that later. Let's go to the phone calls. Definitely. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, hi. Good morning, ladies. I just wanted to ask, since they are slowly but surely installing ICE and, well, probably more military into cities, is October 14th, it could be that they're possibly installing more of these ICE agents because there's a bigger problem that might happen on October 14th due to the fact that there is a Remembrance Day of Charlie Kirk as well as George Floyd's birthday. Do you guys find that to be kind of interesting that they landed on the same day, and will any problems
Wait.
arise from it, from a
Hold
female
on.
perspective?
There's a Remembrance Day for Charlie Kirk. It hasn't even been a year since he passed. Do
Right, I
people
know.
have that
Oh,
much
yeah.
short term of memory that they can't remember 2-3 weeks ago?
Well, I would argue if they are planning.
Now, this was declared by the U.S. Senate.
Correct.
Okay.
Was it really?
Yes.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would absolutely.
But it is his birthday, and that's why.
Yeah, I was
That's
going
why
to say
they picked the date.
if you think that wasn't coordinated, I have a bridge to sell you.
Wait, Charlie Kirk? You're saying Charlie Kirk and George Floyd's birthday are coordinated?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely, that was
No, what do you
coordinated.
mean they were
No,
coordinated? Their
well, I'm
birthday-
saying
Oh.
no. We're having a Remembrance Day for Charlie Kirk on George Floyd's birthday.
No, it's Charlie
no,
Kirk's
they both
birthday.
have the same birthday.
My bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
My
Don't you
bad.
guys find that a little suspicious or interesting at all?
It's.
I mean, this is quite a polarizing event that can happen here.
Yeah,
Sure.
Right.
I don't
Absolutely.
even see
So who
the
will you-
need to
well,
have
who will you
remembrance
guys
for
be
George Floyd.
Well, who will you be commemorating?
I won't be commemorating either.
Good job, Burley.
You know.
I'm proud of you. Yes, I'm proud of you.
I don't
Because I don't think either of them should be celebrated in any way. And you both, all three of you know I am not a Democrat and I am not a Republican. And I just definitely think that this is suspicious. And this is definitely something that needs to be looked at. And my freedom of speech should not be limited because I'm asking questions. And I just pray that everybody is on the same side here when it comes to the freedom of speech and not feelings. Because we're going to get to the bottom of it, and it's going to all be revealed very shortly what's about to happen. And I'm going to go on the assumption that these ICE agents are not just ICE agents. They are military personnel for a monetary collapse that's coming in like a freight train. And nobody wants to talk about this. They want to talk about who holds more melanin across borders. And that's unfair. And that just really needs to be talked about here. So I just wanted a female perspective because nobody male has the guts to answer me on any of this, and I knew you guys would.
Well, thank
and
you.
I appreciate it.
Well-
You're welcome.
No.
Luckily, Brad, you have the guts to discuss things as well.
I try. I have to do it. It's in my soul, and there's no going back. I'm an American, and I'm sorry I've watched this thing start to crumble down for the last 14 years financially, and I pray for each and every one of you that you do a little bit of research and get yourself some cryptocurrency before the collapse happens, because this guy Trump is hell-bent on destroying the Federal Reserve and bringing in a new U.S. digital dollar, and it's going to affect everyone's net worth down to their house, their clothes, their savings, everything. So I'm just trying to make sure you guys know I'm not being combative here like my usual characteristic self.
I
and
was
my-
going to say,
my
even with
thing.
your
And,
usual
yeah, okay.
characteristics, you want a podcast?
I know. I will eventually. I will eventually. And I just want to make sure, and you guys come here every Tuesday and you bring it, and everybody calls in and tries to start trouble, and that's good radio. But I just tell you that I appreciate it, and it's cool because Tuesdays are rough days.
Yeah,
they are.
Let's face it, no one's living for Monday, so
No,
you
that's
guys
very
have
true.
a good
Living
week.
for the weekend.
We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah,
have a good one,
thanks,
you
Ed.
two.
So, Adriana, there were a couple of things you wanted to
Yes.
discuss regarding our conversations before the break.
So there was one thing that I saw, and there's two things I saw. One thing that I saw that it's a question, and the other thing that I saw was something about President Obama, because he's being brought up a lot more, and I think it's because a lot like my generation, that's the only president we really remember. We were too young to know the president that was before him, and then the only other one that we are more familiar with is Donald Trump, and as you can see in the media, he's not very well liked. So this is
Even though there are those who said that the election was today, he would still win.
Yes. There you go. So the only two presidents that we really know are Obama and Trump. So the first one that I'm going to go with is something that I saw online, and it's a post, and it's interesting to me. And it says, I want to check in with Trump voters. I have one very genuine question. It has been 250 days now that immigrants have been violently torn from their families and communities have been destroyed. Now that trans people have been blamed for virtually everything and live on fear, and now that free speech is on the brink of collapse for all of us. Has your life gotten better? Have your groceries gotten cheaper? Has your health insurance premium gone down? Has your work-life balance improved? Can you take a vacation? Are you happier? Has the widespread suffering of others paid off for you in the way he promised it would, or are you still waiting for him to fulfill his promises?
Like lowering the price of gas?
Mm-hmm. You know, that's the only one. I was so excited yesterday when I went to go. I've gotten better. Boo usually yells at me because I'm one of those people that will drive my car till, I've got this much gas.
You are like my husband.
Yeah, so I do that all the time, but now I've gotten better to at least, okay, if it's a quarter of a tank, to go ahead, maybe I should fill this up. But I've been shocked that gas prices haven't gone through the roof yet. That's the only place I haven't seen.
Well, they just went below $3.
Yeah.
But they've been at over $3 for some time.
Right. So, but that's like the frog in the pot. We're all used to $3 because when you're expecting it to go up near $5,
well,
I'm
it
shocked.
is. But see, you're looking from a perspective of a resident of Indiana buying gas here.
Right. Yeah.
Considering right across the border,
it's closer to $5.
And in California, it's probably over $5.
Yeah.
So it's where you live.
Sure, absolutely. So
something to take a look at.
Yeah, we've been lucky. So, but that's the only thing. I can't go to the grocery store with me, a single person. I can't go to the grocery store without dropping like $40 a pop.
And see, I was saying I wish I could go to the grocery store and only spend $40.
Well, yeah, but
I do my grocery
shopping. If I go to Costco, I'm spending $400.
Yeah,
so,
I do my little grocery shopping, and I know that I'm gonna walk in and spend at least $100, and it's not because like, you're spending it on spending it on this, you're spending it on that. Like, no, I'm spending it on meals to make, to cook.
Well, okay,
and it's expensive,
right?
So you buy your own groceries living at home, or these are just things you prefer for yourself?
I buy my own groceries living at the dorm, and then sometimes.
Oh, you're back in the dorm.
I am. Yes, this is my last year
realize.
in the dorm. So we have a full set kitchen. So I cook my own meals because I don't. Well, if I eat out every single day, I'm gonna get sick of eating out.
Right.
And at this point, it's the same price.
Are your parents buying your groceries?
No, I buy my own groceries. They always ask if I need groceries, and I make it a point to, if I'm going to be in the dorms, I have to be responsible enough to set aside money to be able to buy groceries and pay my little bills that I have. Now, I think the only bill that I don't have is my car payments.
Okay.
But like health insurance, medical bills, groceries, gas, I try to pay those things. Now,
so
I have a little bit of a better car now. Because beforehand, my car was very expensive to manage. Yes, I was able to I was so excited. It's the first time I was adulting. Oh my gosh.
I love it.
I signed the papers. I didn't need my dad to co-sign because my credit was pretty well managed.
Yeah.
Very good.
The reason why I am not paying my car payments is because they're like, happy graduation.
Wonderful.
There you go.
Happy early graduation.
What parents should do. They're paying your insurance too, I hope.
Nope, I'm paying my own insurance.
Okay.
And it's just because insurance plans were switching because jobs were switching over. And I was like, well, I'm getting insurance through here. I can do this if that's easier. And they're like, your insurance is so much better than ours. Yes, go get your own insurance. And I was just like, okay, I thought I had till 25, but here we are.
All right, yeah.
But yeah, so I made sure to have that responsibility because I'm looking at the economics of today. And yes, I don't understand all of the economics. That's part of adulting. You're going to move forward into it, and you're going to learn as you go. because
Sure.
they teach you that in 8th grade, and then you don't use it until you are probably out of college, if not out of high school. So I am slowly but surely learning. Of course, there are going to be things where I'm like, how does this work? I didn't know how car insurance worked. My dad's like, you have to call them. I'm like, what do you mean I have to call them? You call them. I don't want to talk to them. But then I was like, that's something that you have to learn as you go through.
Good for you. So let's get to the other.
So the other thing that I had was I saw this compilation of statistics of President Obama, and I just wanted to fact check it and see if this was correct in the sense, or like somewhere near, yes, this is correct, or if this is how those that are, I don't want to say Republican because then that generalizes
Let's put the
all
camera on you.
Republicans. Oh, sorry. I don't want to say Republicans, then that generalizes all Republicans as the same. And I don't want to say it's complete far right because then we have issues with that. I'd want to see if it is something that the opposing party is going to say, no, none of this is true, or if it is. So this was like a compilation. I was like, oh, life seemed a little bit better. Why did it change? So this is the one that I saw. I'm going to see if it will play. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. If I can rewind it. Here we go.
Can you turn it up?
Office in 2009, the country was in an economic freefall. Unemployment is now at 4.7%. 82 straight months of job growth. That is the longest streak ever in the history of our country. Under President Obama, the high school...
Hold on. It's playing music in the back, so I'm just going to read what it says as
just
it
read it
goes.
to us, please.
So under President Obama, the high school graduation rate in this country hit 83%. That's the highest it has ever been in the history of this country. Under President Obama, we have had the first drop in federal prison population in decades. Let me see here. Under President Obama, after efforts by his administration, see here, homelessness among American veterans dropped by half. Under him, 16 countries around the globe gave up every last ounce of their highly enriched uranium, taking away the risk that it could be stolen or misused to assemble a core of a nuclear weapon or make a dirty bomb. Underneath him, in 2011, he ordered the Navy SEALs into Pakistan on that mission that killed bin Laden. Let's see here. And then under him, banks could no longer use your money that you deposit in the bank to make risky bets for their own profits. When he took office, the deficit was about 10% of our GDP, and it is now about 3% of ours. And then under him, it says, under him, our country's dependence on foreign oil plummeted. He overturned the ban on scientific research using stem cells. He upped by billions of dollars the resources available for mental health care in the VA. So I guess those expanded. And then also underneath his presidency, gay couples finally got all the same opportunities as straight couples.
Right.
I think that's the one main thing that my generation kind of noticed.
Yeah.
And then you cannot be denied health insurance because of a pre-existing condition.
Right.
You cannot be charged more for your health insurance because you are a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And your health insurance can't put a lifetime cap on what you are allowed to need because of your health care.
That's all Obamacare.
Yeah. And 20 million Americans got health insurance because of his presidency, and as you said, of Obamacare. Let's see here. I think that might have been it. Yes. So all of those things. And so as I'm seeing that, I'm like, okay, I remember a little bit here and there. Of course, like the Obamacare and the that gay people were able to marry each other.
Right.
Yes.
Cool.
The lifting the ban of don't ask, don't tell.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he actually had a transformation while in office to support that.
Yes. So as I'm seeing this, and I know that it has been said that Trump did not like a lot of things that President Obama did during his presidency. Now, for me and my generation, looking at this looks like a lot of good things.
Right.
Why is this considered bad?
Money. That would be my first knee-jerk reaction because...
That it's expensive to do those things?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes, I think that there's always a, with okay, we have to, with Obamacare, the subsidies and all this stuff, that, companies don't like doing that stuff because it takes away from their bottom line.
Okay.
So that's always a big problem. And, you know, healthcare is expensive. I mean, we're seeing that with you know, FSSA and the, you know, with the Medicaid stuff. Yeah, I guess healthcare is expensive, you know, for whatever reason. But that's always the bottom line. I have always been taught is it's the money.
It's the money aspect. And
if people aren't making their nut, you know.
So I see it different than Michelle.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The entire time that President Obama was in office, Donald Trump went against him.
Absolutely.
From the birther
Yeah.
to everything that he did, he tried to diminish. So, as you can see, this divided country, it's basically divided down right and left. And I think that anything that the Democrats did that was positive,
Right.
the other side is trying to diminish
Yes.
because they want to win elections. And so by trying to make it look like these were all bad things, they want to appeal to their base.
Michelle's about to explode.
No, go ahead.
And so by demonizing these good things, they're appealing to their base. We can look at it. Michelle, go ahead.
Well, what
I
I was going to
add
say is
something.
what they do is they demonize it because it's the Democrat stuff. But then, you know, they rework the program and all of a sudden, oh, it's the Republicans' answer to it. And before I generalize that and say that that's a Republican tactic, I'm sure Democrats do the same thing because if something is working, why are we going to, instead of, you know, because we're people and I think we kind of, you know, stink in this way, instead of, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, well, we did it. And, you know, it's basically the same thing because I remember talking to someone about the food, you know, these food bills, the farm bills and stuff. And they're like, you know, we know what's going away now, but, you know, you give it a couple months and something very similar is going to come out. So because there are some things you can't just take away.
Yeah.
Now, why they haven't figured this out for...
Some things you can't take away, like our free speech.
Well, we'll see what happens tonight if the government shuts down over taking away, you know, the money toward health care.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing that so it comes down to money. But
I don't agree though that it totally comes down to. I don't agree that it comes down to money.
For Trump, no. For Trump, it was absolutely about Obama.
Okay.
Well, I would, you know, I'm with you there, but I'm talking about, you know, looking at from the Senate side. Because these lobbyists, they're not going to the president. They don't get to go to the president.
They're going to his people, right?
No, I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think lobbyists ever get that far up.
They get to the people that get to the president.
Okay, fair enough. But the people
that's the whole point of influential lobbyists.
Sure. So, but mostly they're working at the Senate level and the you know, House level because those are the people who are making the laws. So that's why, you know, for them it's dollars and cents and what, you know, the temperature of our, you know, of our constituency, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but so as how you're saying that comes down to money. But Trump's tariffs, they're not expensive. They're not upping our prices.
Right. That's why I don't agree with Michelle on that because
I think it's
for a lot of reasons, but that is one of them.
Well, didn't you say that it was because it's businesses and companies? Trump is a businessman that has gone bankrupt how many times?
Oh, girl. Absolutely.
At least 3, right?
But I think I'm saying there with the tariffs, was Congress involved in that at all? No. I don't recall Congress going in and saying, "Hey, we're approving this." That's been Trump's baby.
I think that he doesn't need approval.
Well, exactly.
When it comes down to the vote, they're going to side with him because you have those
because what are you going to do?
Influencers that are going to say, "Hey, your state wants this. Your district needs that.
Yeah,
we need your vote." That's how it works.
Let's ask the farmers of Indiana how that's going right now.
Hey, I was one of those people that was not a lobbyist, but we were considered advocates for Purdue School of Ag, to go down to Congress and talk to the Congress people about these very issues in the Farm Bill. So there are people who do that, and there are things that get done as a result of that. But just like the things that are happening negatively, like Purdue, we're here on Purdue right now. Purdue just lost $34 million for a program. Are you familiar with the program Gear Up, where it was to help minority students, underprivileged students, to get into these schools, to help with them going to college?
Okay.
And because it had to do with diversity, they pulled the funding.
Yep.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So that's the thing. I see those things that past presidents have done. I see how past presidents have acted. And I brought this up, I think, on Thursday, that when I would see older footage of presidents, and this was during their political debates, and both Democrats and Republicans are guilty of this. I'm not saying that it is mainly Trump's issue. He is a big issue of it, but it is not mainly him. We did see this, that Kamala was doing the same thing as he was. That past presidents looked at the person that was running against them as their opponent and not their enemy, in the sense that they wouldn't say bad things about them. They would say that you are that the other candidate is a fine person, they are a good man, so and so. Yes. Whereas you have Trump over here with his now more famous appearance, besides the Tylenol thing, that he hates his enemy.
He does.
And people will say, he was just joking, it was a joke. No, because we see that when he runs, he takes shots at people. And that automatically is going to make the other person take shots at you back. And they're arguing, calling each other horrible, horrible names. And you want me to think that he cares about the other side as well? When you see past presidents, regardless if they're Democratic or Republican, that they will shake hands and they'll say, job well done, you are more fit for this position than I am, opposed to riots happening on January 6th that even though the other person won, they can't say that you're more
those
fit
were
for
peaceful.
it. Those were
Come
peaceful.
on
But
now.
Adriana, did you ever go back and look at the first debate that Donald Trump participated in, the first time he ran?
I have not.
Take a look at that debate.
Okay. I'll look
Down
at it,
the
we
line,
have a break
every
soon.
single person that he had, that he was running against, what were there, maybe about 8 or 10?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
He talked about each, just like you said, he made each person his enemy till they were able to knock him off, knock Jed Bush, knock him off. Everyone talked about their looks, what they look. Little Marco, who's now his Secretary of State.
Little Marco now.
Yeah, so that's how he, Ben Carson, HUD, the first term around. So that's his modus operandi. And why do you do that? Because you know that you're not as intelligent as them. You don't have a plan. So the way he operates is to knock people off. He's such a narcissist that everyone is beneath him. And he's the best thing America could possibly be put in office. Half these people who voted for him didn't even know who he was before The Apprentice, unless you were from New York.
Yeah.
People have a need to be. We've talked about this before. It's the baser nature. People want to be able to act with impunity, however they want, however they choose. And if you want to be, if you want to be a jerk, you can be a jerk. Look, our president's a jerk.
Yep.
And all these other people.
And perhaps maybe that's why I look at it as this. Maybe this is why there's so many people that follow him. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, there's Republicans and then there's MAGA, but they're both on the red side. Correct?
Correct.
There's Democrats. What's the MAGA form of Democrat? We don't. Is there one?
Progressives.
Progressive individuals?
Yeah.
Or is it
for the far left? Because
or is
it
it
was
the woke individuals that they claim to say? Because that's one thing I never really understood that. And then how I see it is that the reason why there's MAGA, because I don't think that all Republicans are MAGA. I think that there are times, because I spoke to one of my friends that he is a Republican, and I asked,
does he support Donald Trump?
he did vote for him, but
See?
here's the thing. I don't think of him as a MAGA individual because I can still have conversations with him and we can agree and disagree on certain things.
But they still follow Donald Trump.
Yes, but what he had told me is that even Republicans are mad at Trump, and I was like, what?
But
do you
will they
mean?
vote for him today?
Yep.
Well, that's what I did.
That's the point.
I asked him, I was like,
You
what
can
do you
be
mean
mad
that
all
they're
you
mad
want,
at
but
him?
you're still going to go in that poll and pull the lever that says red.
Well, so I asked him, I was like, what do you mean that they're mad at him? And he's like, they're now realizing that there's a lot of empty promises and they're regretting their vote. And I was like, okay. So as I'm looking at that, I'm like, the reason why that the callers, people in the chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that why MAGA is so just like, yes, pro-Trump, no matter what he does, is because Trump attacks those people that he doesn't like. Individuals, groups, minority groups that he does not like. He will attack them. And because MAGA doesn't like those individuals, they're like, yes, keep attacking them. Keep attacking the immigrants. Keep attacking the women. Keep attacking those who are transgender. Those who are of the LGBTQ community. Keep attacking them. We don't like them, so that's who we want.
Is it the chicken? Is it the chicken or the egg?
Basically.
Did Donald Trump dislike these groups first, and that's why people followed him? Or did these groups dislike those individuals, and Donald Trump knew that he could play to their inferiorities, that play to their fears, and get them to come on board? Because seeing Donald Trump, he always had tendencies, but once he found that there was a group of people that he could influence and bring to his side, he manipulated the entire Republican Party to fall lockstep into what he calls MAGA, a term that didn't exist before Donald Trump.
Are we sure about that? Because no,
the
it's
term,
America First.
The term.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
America First is the one, is the policy.
What does MAGA stand for?
Make America great again.
Oh. See,
He's the one that he coined that phrase. And that became a whole group. People walking around with hats. Make America great again. Donald Trump was able to make these people believe that he had their best interests at heart. And now he believes it too. He didn't believe it in the past. He was more concerned about being the playboy in New York, going from wife to wife to wife. He has metamorphosed himself into what they want. And now they are so deeply in line with him that they don't even know what they want anymore.
Yeah, because then the Epstein files that people keep saying that has to be released, have to be released. What happens when they're released? Is because he didn't get sent to jail or have any repercussions because of the convicted felonies. Now, people can say that he did them, he didn't do them, whichever one. You were still accused of that, and that did not cause you to be out of the running for president. When these files are released, I would like to hope that if he is in them and he did something bad, that means that there will be consequences. But
Jesse Jackson would tell you to keep hope alive, and I'd say forget it.
Yeah, I don't think
don't
that's
keep
gonna
hope.
happen
There's no hope that that's going to happen.
Because they're going to get released. Okay, cool. He's still going to be president.
Yeah.
So I don't think that anything's really going to happen. Also, we have two callers.
I agree with you. Nothing is going to happen.
Sorry, we've been ranting. So do you want to take the
Good
calls?
morning. You're on the air, caller.
Hi, Vinny.
Hey, Vinny. How you doing?
Not good.
Oh, goodness. How's Sandy?
Not good.
I'm sorry.
Sandy's been in the hospital since Friday night.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Okay, you know what's going on. I posted on Facebook. Now, there's a possibility with her blood infection. They're running some tests, and that there's a possibility that she might have leukemia now.
Oh my goodness!
Dear.
Wow.
Yeah, they did a lot of blood work on Sandy, and they moved her from one room to another, so she can get the care that she needs because they were just so busy on the floor that she was on. So they moved her yesterday when I got up there about 5 o'clock. So we're doing okay.
I just wanted to say hi and see how you ladies were doing.
We're doing good.
We're just ranting away over here.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
But I think it's
understand.
important for you to call in because everybody's not on Facebook, and they're concerned and they want to hear what's going on with you and Sandy.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's like you said, with this healthcare, it's taking a hit on Sandy and I really hard right now.
I bet.
And she's concerned. She's worried what's going to happen. About my health care. Even though I got health, even though I have insurance through my job, that now it might be going up. And I just told her, I said, well, we need health insurance. So everything's going up, but but my paychecks keep going down.
right.
Yeah.
And I told and I told her that that everything will be okay. We'll just manage what we have and continue just like everybody else in this country. Determine what they're going to do.
And that's the way a lot of people feel.
Yep.
That's how they're doing it day by day.
Right.
You have to definitely stay positive for her so she's, doesn't have worry in addition to all the medical issues
I
she's
accidentally
experiencing.
hung up on him.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that,
Sorry,
Vinny.
Vinny. There's something wrong with our phone lines and the hold button. I don't know why it's because I don't know if you heard the ringing.
No.
Yeah, there's like a ringing on there, so I'm gonna have to ask what's wrong with it because I don't know. Sorry, Vinny. We did not mean to hang up on you.
Yeah,
Definitely
Vinny.
not. Do we have another caller?
We have two more callers.
Then we
but
have to
yeah,
take a
Vinny,
break.
keep us updated on Sandy. We're praying for her.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, we have another phone call. So I'm guessing. So if people are trying to call in, please keep calling in because while we're on the line with somebody, we can't go to hold because then it drops them automatically.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know why that is. So just bear with us here.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Okay, let's take Republican and Democrat out of this.
Okay.
Let's just look at the horrible man. Okay, he's committed crimes. Okay, and if you just looked at him and you were working, right beside this man, I think that you would be appalled. Even the people that voted for him, I think you would be appalled at his actions. If you voted for him, I think that the only reason that you would vote for him is because you didn't like one of the terrible classes that he's put people in. That's the only reason you would vote for someone like that.
But what about the
If you
people who
don't-
voted for him because they felt that he was going to be good for the economy, good for job creation? There were
Well-
reasons that they actually getting rid of illegals, as they want to say, quote unquote. I don't use the term, but they do. So what
Right,
about
but
those reasons?
Well, everybody wants our borders safe. In any country, we want our borders safe, but not the way that you just willy-nilly do this.
Right.
Not the scare tactics. You have to look at this. What frightens me is that someone says something and you just go along with it blindly. Women worked hard for this vote. They worked so hard for this vote.
Yes, ma'am.
And to just think, well, I'm either not going to vote or I'm going to vote for this man. And I don't want to hear comparisons anymore. That's old history. Come on now. So let's look at the present. Let's look at what he has done for this country. Are we better off than we were 5 years ago? I think that's the common sense kind of question. Let's look at this logically and say, golly, is my health care better? Are my groceries better? So I think you just have to look at this common sense. And you girls aren't ranting and raving. You are expressing your intelligent opinion. So don't bring it down to the lowest denominator.
Oh, thank you.
Don't ever go there. Please always just say, I'm expressing my intelligent opinion.
But here's the thing.
And
Let me
so-
just say this
Yes,
because
yes.
you talked about comparisons and looking back. For someone like Adriana, who is new and young,
Yes.
we study history in school. So discussing
Absolutely,
the
we should.
past helps you not to
Yes.
repeat the mistakes.
Absolutely. I will agree 100%, but don't compare Don't compare apples and oranges, because that's what they're doing. You can't compare that. You know, you just can't compare these. You know, I always am going to hear about what Biden did and what Biden did. No. If you're a new president, if you're a new presidency and you have all new people, I mean, when you look at this man, whenever he's surrounded, who is he surrounded by? Male, white men.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
Look at any bill he signed. Look at anything that he does. That is offensive to women, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Not
alone...
his base.
Oh,
Not his base.
absolutely.
And why is that?
You're right. And why is that? You and I know it's code for you know what it is. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much
Again.
for weighing in.
you.
Appreciate your opinion.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So one thing that I want to touch on before we take the next caller and go to a break is that she did say the comparisons of the past and all that. Well, with the Department of Education, I don't know if it's the Department of Education's decision or if it's just different schools making it a decision that they don't want to touch base on slavery. They don't want to touch base on World War II, on things that happened.
Patriotic. We're getting a new patriotic curriculum.
And that's one thing that, and it's all started with book banning.
Mm-hmm.
It still bothers me that The Hunger Games is a book that is banned because they're just like, yeah, no, it talks about how the government puts people in groups and controls them and wants to kill them off. It's because that's what it feels
their game
like.
plan.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. They want to ban books like The Diary of Anne Frank or different books that talk about the LGBTQ community, that talk about health and different things.
Speaking of The Diary of Anne Frank, I mean, I've been to the house,
Mm-hmm.
saw where she hid, with her family. Why do you want to ban that book?
And I think
And
it's
you're
just
not in Germany trying to deny the Holocaust. Why
The
do
Germans
you
aren't
wanna,
trying to ban
no,
it.
I'm
I
right,
know.
exactly. They're not. Right. So why are they banning that book from?
And I think it's just because we make that correlation that during World War II in Germany there were there were military out in the streets rounding up people of certain demographics.
Just like
and we
they're
can't
doing
even
now.
say that it was just Jewish people because it was also Japanese Americans as well. They were rounding up different
Japanese
people. We
got the
had
camps.
we had an internment camp here in the U.S.
Yep.
And they just want to erase that part of history. I didn't know that there was an internment camp in America until much later on.
Yes.
Because they're not going to tell you how we discovered America until you're in high school. They're going to tell you from the longest time in grade school that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492.
Right.
That's what they're going to continue.
That's how you remember the date.
That's all you're going to tell you. And now they recently changed it to I think it
Indigenous people.
Yeah, I think I was in high school when they changed that. But they changed it now, and they're just like, okay, that makes everything better. But they're slowly erasing history more and more, of not allowing certain things to be taught in school, and especially cursive. And what people think as to why they don't want to
bringing
teach
cursive back, I think.
Yeah,
Chelsea and her husband
Chelsea,
actually
love
have
it.
an academy.
Yeah, that they didn't want to
But
teach
my daughter
cursive.
taught her own.
Yeah.
That's why parents have to come in. I know my daughter, she skipped a grade, and she skipped the grade that did cursive. So she self-taught herself cursive.
Well, I remember
with the workbooks,
me
but,
growing
yeah.
up in school that they had a big PTA meeting. My mom had told me that they didn't want to put cursive in the curriculum, and all the parents were in an uproar of it. And the main thing is, yes, you have to sign your name because anybody can forge a signature if you're just writing in print opposed to cursive.
But do you have to sign your name? Because everything is DocuSign now.
Right.
Yeah, but also with it, if you don't learn cursive, you will not be able to read certain documents, such as the Constitution. And the Constitution is
Which is hard to
completely
read,
in
even if you
cursive.
can read cursive.
Yeah, I just look at old notes from my great grandmother, and I'm like, Mom, how do you read this? And I'm like, it's also because I don't really see cursive often. And I had asked one of my friends, I was like, hey, can you sign your name for me, please? And they were printing it. I was like, no, sign your name. They're like, I am. I'm like,
they don't know.
You don't know cursive? They're like, they never taught it to me. And I was like, what do you mean they never taught it to you?
Isn't that something?
But it's just strange that they want to take those things out of the curriculum. And people are saying that it's not that big of a deal, but you're erasing history that had happened. Not all history is sunshine and rainbows. We did some bad stuff, but that's the thing. We're supposed to learn from that and not do it again, but we're doing it again.
Yes,
I might argue that I don't think that taking cursive out of the curriculum I don't think it started off being, hey, we're going to, so people can't read the Constitution. I don't think that was the initial goal of it.
It wasn't.
I think that it was because, hey, we're going to a whole computerized society. We need to learn keyboard stuff before we need to write because we're not going to be writing anymore.
Right. So the curriculum needed to take that course time to devote to other things.
Right. And so, but now we're learning, the byproduct is, well, now people can't read cursive. I mean, my writing, I don't know if you've actually ever seen my handwriting. I always say that I write like a serial killer.
That's how my mom writes. I'm like, what? And then I look at it, I'm like, oh.
Because the only cursive that I use is to sign my name, and my name is a scribble if you've ever seen my signature. But my handwriting is this weird amalgamation of printing and sort of cursive.
Yeah. I think my handwriting changes like 5 times in a letter,
Right. Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah.
And, I always
Which we don't do much of writing letters anymore.
No.
Soon the post office will be obsolete. So
Yeah.
we're seeing, just like the Department of Education, that they want to totally get rid of anyway.
All right. Well, let's take a break.
Sure.
And we're actually going to take 2 because we went a little bit longer. But that's okay.
Good.
What we had to talk about was important.
That's
so
right.
All right.
We're going
As
to
long
take
as we
2
make
breaks.
up for what we missed.
Yeah, we're going to take 2 breaks. So it's going to be about maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
That,
This is a bathroom break for everybody.
Yep, there you go.
All right, cool.
Listen to the nice elevator music that we have going. We're going to take a few breaks. Actually, I'm going to rewind this elevator music. There we go. Take a few breaks, and then we'll be right back after this advertisement that's shown up.
And welcome back to WJOB AM 1230 and 104.7 FM Hammond, Indiana. It's Jed in the region, still looking for a new name. And you know what? We are open to suggestions because this is it. This is the three of us, Michelle Quinn, Adriana Alvarez, and myself, Verly Suggs. Of course, we're going to be joined. He was just waiting for that invitation. He was over there. He was feeling so left out. And unlike some of the other hosts, I love Jimmy Dedelow. So in welcoming him in to join us for a little while is something he was really hopeful for.
I'm messing up the different cameras.
So we're going to add Jim to the mix as well because we like a male perspective on things.
Hold on. No, I cannot because hold on.
There you go.
Yay.
That was a pity text.
Pity text.
What?
You ever remember the...
Don't you go there. Don't you go there.
Oh, only because you know the term.
I know the term.
Uh-oh.
She probably... I won't even go there.
Don't go there.
There's a term that from years gone by that I will not... But that was a pity text. There's people driving around that know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, thank you. I did all the laundry this morning. I took out the garbage, did the dishes.
Why are you doing laundry at 5 in the morning?
Because for 40 years, I've been waking up at 4:30 in the morning, starting my day. And my wife's like, she comes down at 6, you do something for work, and she's like, why are you awake? I go, what do you mean, why am I awake? I've been awake for 2 hours. I read the whole New York Times and went through all the websites. And now I was going to go work out, but I actually have a sales call today, so I feel very needed today.
Well, I knew the call was until 10, and I saw you, rambling around here, and I'm like, let me send him a message.
You know what? You don't have to invite me in.
No,
okay.
I never do anything I have to. I do what I want to.
He's a vampire.
Exactly.
There we go.
You know what, though? A pity text is kind of there's. Sometimes you're like, well, I just need to cough up. But anyways, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too,
hey,
sir.
I do want to talk to you, but I can't talk to you because you're part of the show,
Well, you could've
evidently.
just, like,
I
tapped
came
my
up
shoulder
there
or
and wanted
something.
to say something to her, and she's laughing, and you guys are talking. I came in 3 times.
She is a co-host.
Evidently.
You should have just told me. You were like,
So there is an unveiling of like $15 million today for Gary and the
Demolition money you're talking about?
Is
or?
it demolition money?
Well, part of that. What is that? Is that what
I
you're
don't
talking
know.
about?
And then there's something that Hard Rock's giving them some money, and I don't know. I didn't really read it. It's from Pat Kramer. I just go forward to Andrew.
let's
You gonna go?
take a look.
Well, can you go into my emails? And this is for you, Adriana, since you are the ombuds person here. Andrew can't make it today. Can you go over to downtown Gary and just be there and take a picture and bring it back, and I'll help you write the news story.
What time?
I don't know. It's on the email.
But she's got school, though.
Oh, you got school?
I have school
Why
today.
would you have school?
Because I make sure all my classes are later in the day so I could be here in the morning.
Well, I think it's at 10:30. But you know what? I think I just read the headline, Transformational Ready Grant to redo downtown
Right,
Gary.
they're supposed to demolish a lot of the structures, the blight.
What's it called?
I don't know. You didn't get this tip?
About.
I did not, but I'm also not the
a-
Gary person. So.
Oh, it's Steve Segura.
Well,
is
Steve
now
I
the,
know.
Segura is the
Yeah.
guy.
I was shocked when I saw
he's
that.
he's like Verley.
That's that you don't tune in. I gave the word out that Steve had left East
I-
Chicago.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Where were you? How come you didn't
okay.
hear it?
What time in the morning?
I see it right here. Am I good to read this?
Don't read it out loud. Has it been announced? I don't know.
It is. It's
getting
transformational downtown revitalization and blight elimination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
I'm sure
$15
mine's
million.
on it.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine that kind of money coming? I mean, as you know, my wife works downtown Gary. I'm there all the time. My dad's company was across the street there by Republic Steel. I know that, and I'm not exactly sure what you would knock down.
I mean, it says the three things for the where $5 million are going to each three things. Am I good to read that?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay. $5 million for renovations at the Hudson and Campbell Center adjacent to Gary City Hall.
Yes.
$5 million for blight elimination. Yeah, blight elimination
Okay.
and redevelopment in the Holy Angels neighborhood, and $5 million for redevelopment within the Transit Development District.
So let me hit on all three of those issues. Hudson Campbell is a fitness center right next to
It's
City
already
Hall.
pretty nice.
Actually, Nate George was the director of that facility under Karen Freeman Wilson's administration.
And then he came.
And then he became the park superintendent, and then he came to Hammond when the Prince administration
And what
came
is
in.
he doing there now in Gary?
Now he's in the sanitary district working under Reagan Hatcher. So
Okay.
so that's the Hudson Campbell Center. But let's talk about by Holy Angels Cathedral. That's Tyler Street, that area. That's where the police department is inside the old St. Mary's Hospital. Hopefully they'll use some of that money to tear down that old structure of that hospital that
Where I was born, might I add.
Yeah,
St.
well,
Mary. That's the old St. Mary's.
How
right?
long's that been
well, the
closed?
sisters left it and moved to Hobart, and
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
remains.
how long has that been closed? 30 years?
Easily.
Yeah,
40
'cause
maybe?
How long has St. Mary and Hobart been there?
So how far is it from Methodist? I'm picturing the building, but I
Basically,
can't see
about-
a few blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few blocks
Right,
down the street
just a
there.
few blocks, right.
So why are they targeting that area
Well,
for development?
I mean, that's a nice area. That's a Horace Mann area.
Yeah.
You're starting that area could have potential. They were doing a few Habitat for Humanity homes at one time. They kind of stopped doing that, but the cathedral's there. So that is the huge structure in Gary
Yeah.
of the
That was
Catholic
one of the-
presence.
You know what? You're right. It is a nice little walk area, and then the other $5 million of it is going into the TOD, which you're going to need to know if you can make this press conference.
Yeah, transportation-oriented development. You got the structure, the parking garage next to where your wife works. That needs to come down. There's that building next to where the Sheraton Hotel is on the corner of Fifth Avenue and Broadway. That needs to come down. There's a lot of blight that actually should come down.
The best piece of land, though. Where do you think the best piece of land in downtown Gary is?
Oh, jeez.
I know exactly what structure needs to come down and could open up a huge amount of development.
There's so much emotion attached to that structure.
Yeah.
It needs to come down.
The
There's
Genesis
so
Center.
many fly-by-nights who
It's
want to
got
come
to
in.
come down. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It needs to come down.
It needs to come down. And could you imagine with that train there knocking down the parking structure? Well, the parking structure.
No, they're gonna build a whole new South Shore station that's going to be handicap accessible and.
Oh, so
Yeah.
is it
So
gonna,
they want
so what's
eventually
gonna
that's
be
gonna happen.
across? So the station will be north of Fourth Avenue, and the parking will be between 4th and 5th. So will you have to go over?
So basically, Notre Dame came in. They met with people. There's so much emotion attached to that Genesis Center from under, when Hatcher was in office and it was built, that you just got to get the mindset to realize that the Genesis Center is no more. It needs to come down. And they would like to make it a more of a walkable downtown area.
Yeah, the plan, because I had covered that.
You covered that, right?
The plan is about, and there have been, over the course of, even my tenure at the paper, a zillion plans to redo Gary. This one, I liked it. I mean, the way that Marianne has, that it has teeth to me. And, they really seem to be going after it. And so I don't think it's a bad plan. And if that's what they're going to do, although I'm going to say you're only given $5 million for demolition. That's nothing.
No, I think there's other.
That'll have to be matched
right.
by grants. So if how do you guys feel? 219-845-1100, putting $15 million basically into downtown Gary with those ready grants, which I didn't know there was still money left, and they're putting $15 million. Now, I'll go down there and pick my wife up and be sitting there waiting and looking around, and I'm like, gosh, this is amazing. There's 3 structures that have to stay. One is City Hall, which is an old, 120 years old maybe. And then the Courts building, which is probably right around the same time. They're beautiful. They need some upkeep.
They need some tender loving care. Hopefully Nippon will come in and invest some dollars in sandblasting those structures. Under the late Roosevelt Allen, when he was a commissioner, he actually hired somebody to shore up that court building because it's under the Lake County commissioners. But they put like an aluminum siding around that dome, and I think that is horrible looking. So
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. One of the third-floor courtrooms they used for a recent crime show, and it's an old-time, huge courtroom. And I love the building, but both that and you walk across City Hall needs some loving care, too.
Most definitely.
But you got to leave those on between 4th and 5th Avenue, and you got to leave Hudson Campbell. It's some of the best basketball in the region is played on Hudson Campbell, not on the hardwoods of colleges or high schools.
You got to leave 504, which was the former Gary Hotel, which is now the Senior Citizen Building, which is next door to the senior. So you got the Senior Citizen Building, which was the former Gary Hotel. Then you have what was the former Gary National Bank, that building 504. Where Centier Bank is.
Where you had your party. What
right,
was that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, do you really need that one?
I think it's a nice structure.
I mean, it's tall. I mean, I can't imagine it's vacant. I mean, it's got to be mostly vacant.
It's,
which one? The
bank? I think Sanitary District's in there. The building on the corner of 5th and Broadway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that isn't that where the bank is?
Yeah, Centier Bank is there.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of bringing that kind of money into the administration, and full disclosure, Verley's husband is in that administration. Someone asked me recently, well, gosh, should they really go at downtown Gary? Now I have an emotional attachment to it, having kind of grown up in and around it. My wife grew up at 8th and something, right around the corner, and now is a judge in downtown Gary. So it's kind of a cool area. I ride my bike over there. I love. And they're putting all those millions of dollars into the actual South Shore station, which they haven't even really, we haven't seen that yet. So will Gary 5 to 7 years from now be a lot different than it is in downtown? Will $15 million do it? Probably not.
No,
you'll need 100.
It's definitely not enough. But didn't Nippon promise to invest money in the city of Gary as well? That's
a whole another issue, in that do you put that kind of pressure on private companies? Think about, I already know the answer to this. I mean, the expectations from Hard Rock into not just Gary, but to the county and to other areas to kind of give back is pretty strong. And then what do you demand of these companies outside of these massive tax bills that they're going to pay?
Right, but hasn't U.S. Steel been undervalued for far too long? So putting that money into the city is basically money that should have been there all along.
Yes.
Right.
And that is, and you let people. Oh, my mill's worth. I can't remember the number, but 127 sticks out. I mean, just $100 million for something that pumps out that much steel,
right?
And that Nippon's going to come in and pay who knows how many billions for that. It was never in the range of where it should have been valued. I can't imagine the windfall that will come to Gary once. Probably be a couple of years before some of that money comes, but the windfall will be substantial, and you could see why Melton and Michael all supported the deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to say this because it is Melton. It is not Michael. Michael works for Melton.
Right.
And so anything that goes on in the city of Gary is based on the mayor and the city council. My husband is an employee just like everybody else.
Right. I just work here, folks.
And so, speaking of windfalls along the lake, a similar windfall is coming to Hammond, or is possibly coming to Hammond. So, NIPSCO. So NIPSCO has into the residential customer and the small business and the medium business where most of my customers and listeners come from.
Right.
And I know the issue. I know the game. So there's got to be a reason that they're cutting the data centers into their own company so they can give them lower rates. So if you're going to give the data centers lower rates to come here, then you're going to expect the residents to pick that up. And everybody right now, from what I hear, is like an average of $77 a month.
Oh,
over the last 2 years, everybody's electric rates have gone up. And I'm like, that's $800 a year to a lot of people listening right now that are like, man, that's really pinching. You talked about it earlier, making your nut, which from me and Verley back in the day, that maybe
I know.
don't use that one, right?
I know.
I mean, I've already kind of.
Well,
I said there was a pity text, and everybody's like, "What?
No, I know. I was sitting there thinking, can we use this?
Yeah, just don't say that anymore. Every time I snicker, like an 8th grader. But so I mean, from what I gather, and I saw Dockage at the beach the other day. We just talked in general about can you schedule him for either Dabberton or Kuziak or Verley, a guy named Tom Dockage. He wants to come on the show and talk about data centers, right? Okay. He wants to explain them and stuff. And so
he probably would be more comfortable with that.
I don't know what his involvement is with this, but it was originally with the Hammond one, where they went in, they put these server farms in. You and I did plenty of stories on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what are they really doing? Is there really going to be that kind of a market for it? And, we stream all these games, and Dockage is like, just come on over. We probably got a little extra room on a shelf. And instead, we just signed up with somebody else. But, I mean, it will help us, I think, in the long run that they're right here and we're in a distressed area. They'll probably, at some point, they'll be like, hey, just don't worry about it. We got Google, Microsoft, and, you're going to take like 0.00001% of the computing power. Maybe we can work something out. But they are going to build this massive data center or plan or hoping to right next to it. And if you need to cover this one, because if I read that correctly, McDermott said it was going to more than double the assessed valuation of the city. Can you imagine that?
Sure. That's amazing.
So if Gary gets a bunch of money out of reassessing U.S. Steel to where it should be, and Hammond is able to get a bunch of money out of putting data centers next to the server farm, which is so much cheaper because the water's there and they don't need it. They don't need to pipe it to cool it, right? And they have pretty, now they're going to have cheaper power, obviously, from NIPSCO. So it's pretty much a no-brainer, and it's cut off from the neighborhoods by railroad tracks, power lines. So you don't really have to worry about the sound. I can't imagine how big they're going to build that. And so if Hammond and Gary are getting all this money, it's really McDermott called it transformational.
Definitely.
Sure.
Gary, with the reassessment of U.S. Steel, will be transformational. So what happens to Hammond and Gary, the two biggies along the lake, 5 to 7 years from now? I've always kind of been waiting for that moment, that thing that happens that kicks both cities to, boom.
Bring them back, sure.
Not bring them back, just where they turn into something different.
Right.
Sure. Okay, my question is reassessing. How are we going to reassess, USX?
I don't think they are talking
Well,
about that has to be through the legislation.
Well,
right?
exactly. You
Yeah.
can't because you're never going to get more than 3%.
Yeah. So they're not going to reassess it, but I just think that this is money that's going to be invested in the community, not
hope.
through taxes,
Sure.
but through investment, just like the money that comes from Hard Rock to fund
Sure.
police cars or for education, funding students going to IU, Northwest, different things like that.
Sure.
The convention center coming in. It's just investing in the city,
Okay.
not so much reassessing what they pay in taxes.
There is also a tax element to it, I think, with Nippon. They're going to be paying way more taxes than U.S. Steel did.
Well, it's got to be based on the value.
But
Which
it's the
is-
value that
Right.
U.S. Steel said. But if they're going to buy it if they're buying a company for $14 billion, right?
Okay.
What's this one worth? Part of that. How many more mills do they have? That's got to be at least a couple billion. How are you going to go downstate
Well, are they
and
outright
say, hey,
buying
still
or are they
3%.
investing?
what?
Are they outright buying or are they investing? Isn't it wording in it that it's not actually a purchase?
There is. How come that light's not on, by the way?
Because I didn't know you were gonna sit in, and then
Oh, yeah, and he is a
the
little
thing
dark.
was,
a little
if
darker, man.
if I go get the light, I'm in front of the camera, and I didn't want to do all that, so
You know,
I was gonna wait a little
And
while.
Adriana is part of our show, so you can't exclude her when you come and join us.
No, it's okay. I'm looking at different things right now.
He's giving you orders like you're the producer
Oh,
only.
He's still my boss.
I know, but you're a co-host.
That's one. I like to come in and hang out and walk around, and then if somebody asks for me, I come in. But I think that I got to quit doing that because this was a pity text that
No,
if I
it
ever
wasn't.
saw one. Man. I've been a part of them pity texts before. All right. Hey, thank you for letting me come in. But I did want to talk about Gary and Hammond. This might be a little bit of a turning point.
It could be, but here's, this thing about data centers. People have very, very strong feelings about data centers.
Especially in Hobart.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's coming.
Yes.
And, there's one now proposed for St. John, which is that's a whole other banana. But the thing about them is are we going to, as a country, are we going to stop using the technology?
No.
No. So what do? You have to do them. They have to go somewhere.
Yes.
I know, and say what you want about that. They've got to be built because we are not, whatever technology is. But the interesting thing, and I was talking to somebody about this a few weeks ago, and the thing about these massive structures, and I was always under the assumption that when the technology, that they can't, retrofit them. Or you can't, that once the servers are complete, that they can't, swap them out. Yes, you can. I think it's every 3 years that they swap them out. Mm-hmm. But what happens, as we all know, we have, the world right here in this teeny weeny little thing. What happens when the technology gets smaller and you don't need these massive structures anymore?
But you still need a storage area.
No, I understand what you're saying,
it's an interesting
but it
conundrum.
actually goes the other way.
Okay.
In other words, you're getting more, like they're saying that in your phone is more computing power than they had when they sent the first man to the moon.
Exactly.
With rooms and rooms of servers. All right, Adriana, I'm looking at you to include you if that's okay.
Okay.
Because I was just not only did I get a pity text, I got a pity text come in and I got chastised. But what is happening is that the less size and the more powering computer here in your hand might just be a watch at some point. It might be in your ear. Who knows what it might be?
Yeah, in our brain.
It's in our glasses already.
Yeah, the glasses are
It's
amazing.
in our watches
Scroll
already.
through Instagram on your glasses, and it's a little scary to me.
Apple Pods. It's
Have you put them on?
No, I've seen them, and I've seen the makeups for them. I've seen the AI simulations that companies are doing and how they want to do it. And that just worries me because I already don't have great eyesight because I need glasses. And I just feel that will burn more into your eye because there's no blue light protection unless you're wearing contacts.
Yep.
So
wow, I have this all figured out. That's excellent.
And this is why we include her.
Well, I don't think people really understand the transition here as they're kind of pushing me out on the sports network. And then I got a 21-year-old phenom over here kind of running the radio station. So I got plenty of time to think about these things.
But we do miss you because people want to hear your perspective. And if you're not here any of the days during the week, Jim, come on.
So, no, I'm here. I walk around, and as soon as I get the pity text, I come in. But
it's like my time to shine.
But here's the deal. It's the projections over the next 10 to 20 years are exponentially larger numbers of computing power and AI. I mean, that's why it's so dangerous. It could just take us over at some point, and I get all that.
Yeah, I've got a story
so
for that,
I'm going to close with this. Here's my problem, my challenge, is that we're bringing all these data centers here. It's perfect. It's one of the lowest cost states to do business. You have open areas. You try to put this in Massachusetts, a data center, they will laugh at you, right? Because there are environmental concerns. There are noise concerns. There's other Southeast Indianapolis, was it Microsoft or Google wanted to put like billions of dollars, and they said no way. Yeah. And I was down there for a VC AI conference at the time, which was kind of odd. And every night you watch the news, and they're like, "Oh my God!" They're all yelling about it, and city in town hall meetings and stuff. And they just finally said, "No, we're not gonna. It's just not gonna go here."
Right.
But they're putting one out here by New Carlisle. They want to put one. It looks like McDermott very quietly is going to put one up here on the. Here's my problem. At the exact same time that we're getting much of the computing power and AI power in America coming to our state, we are cutting money for education.
Well, we just talked about the $34 million cut from Purdue.
So my point is that really what you're setting up is a situation where the computing is going to all be done here in the middle of the country in Indiana, but the really high-paying jobs that go into that computing, they're going to go somewhere else because you're not investing in this. Actually should be the time, if you ask me, you take that money and you say, hey, we're going to build a workforce for you so that we could put up glass structures like Gastovich has over here. Kennedy and the Borman, and we're going to put people in these things that can do the jobs at less cost, way less cost than paying some computer engineer $250,000 to sit at a desk all day in Silicon Valley. You can pay them here, you can pay them $180,000, and they will be happy, and you will pay less money. But we're not doing that. We're going to cut education at the same time that all that computing power is coming here. That is one that I'm a little worried about in terms of the future. I mean, we're not maximizing the opportunity that is coming to us.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is a larger topic for a larger time.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me come in. You could tell I was just ready to talk, sitting in that room by myself.
We're happy to have you join us anytime.
All right.
And anytime you'll come on Thursdays, please. So then I'm like, okay. What are we talking about today? And then I'll be like,
that's right.
Joe, you got anything? Nope. All right. So education.
Here's the thing. When Adriana, she's like you, Verly, she comes prepared.
I will, things. Yeah. So I like the stuff that we've been talking about today, I will take into consideration and then go from, okay, so this is what we talked about on Tuesday. What can I take over and talk about it and expand on it more on Thursday? If not, then what's happened in the news from Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday that I can talk about.
All right. You will hear Adriana on Thursday morning. Tomorrow it's Dabberton. Friday it's Kuziak. Monday it's Pullen. And then on Tuesday it's Verley. So I'm going to take a break. You guys finish up. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for joining us, Jed. Well, there were a couple of things we wanted to discuss. I don't think we were really going to get to them.
How did you clink and you didn't even have a coffee cup in your hand? Oh, my goodness.
We always welcome the owner of the station, the boss of Adriana.
Yeah, why are we going to say no?
It's like, as a child would say, you're not the boss of me, but he is the boss of her.
Yeah, I'm like, oh wait, no, I can't say that.
But Michelle,
yes,
I know we're getting ready to wrap it up. We only have a few minutes remaining in the show.
Yep.
So share with us some of the things that you've been covering here, working for the Chicago Tribune Company, Post-Tribune affiliate.
I've been knee deep in the St. John water thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was started that at the end of August, so I've been going pretty heavy on that. I still have a story to finish up from the meeting last week when the St. John Council all of a sudden, oh no, we didn't realize that the developer was going to put a giant subdivision on this property. We had no idea until September 10th.
So what did they think? Don't they have to get approvals?
Well, so the whole thing is that in the state of Indiana, because a law that Senator Niemeyer wrote for the town of Lowell,
which is his district.
Yes. So what had happened was Lowell had, and this all kind of ties in. So Lowell had a water treatment facility that was in unincorporated wherever. It was theirs. They were using it, but they wanted to make some improvements and stuff. But anytime that you're working in unincorporated, anywhere in the state, you have to go through the county. Mm-hmm. So you'd have to go through the county plan commission. Senator Niemeyer wrote the legislation so they wouldn't have to keep going before, the county. So they annexed it, and it was non-contiguous land.
Uh-huh.
So now that land is part of Lowell. And so, we could just do the fixes. And so what St. John proposed to do through a developer, John Lawton, and that's the whole thing where Trump Jr. came in. That's why they gave the water rights, because they had this property back in March. They dug these wells and, tested it out to see that there's water.
Uh-huh.
And apparently there's some decent water out there. So the aquifer, as I'm learning, and so
underground water.
Right. So that's how they Lawton quit claim the deed to Trump Jr.'s company, or LLC, and that's why he came when he was here. He came and he deeded the water rights to the town. Now, there was a little sideshow of how Junior's company was not registered with the state, but that's a funny little side story. The main issue here is this parcel of land. So the law states that it has to be connected. If you're doing non-contiguous, it has to be connected.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what this developer was planning to do was make an end run. Okay, well, we're going to delay the annexation until we get this plant up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to annex the land. And, we're going to put a 982 unit subdivision on this land.
Wow.
So, as you can imagine, the farmers out there and anybody who's living out there was pretty hostile, because wait a minute, now you've got, you're making this end run. You've got to think about the the police. You've got to think about emergency services and all this other stuff. And also, how are you going to connect this water treatment plant to the town that's 2 miles away?
I was going to say that's not right on their border,
right
there.
So you have to get this infrastructure. You've got to get the easements. You've got to, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of expense. And as far as I can see,
and who is going to pay?
That's the interesting thing, because I have yet to see where it wasn't going to be the town that was going to pay for it. I have not seen anything yet that says the developer.
Well, how does that normally work when you buy?
The developer.
The developer
when
normally will pay for the sewer connection, the water connection.
Yes, that is the developer's responsibility.
Even the electrical that NIPSCO would come in, the developer still takes on that cost.
Yeah, they're on the hook for that. So I have, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. that, the developer was planning to pay for it, but I have not seen anything yet that it has.
Well, let's put a pin in it because our time is coming quick. Last time you called in on the show, someone disputed what you had to say about Cedar Lake and their water.
Did they? What did they say?
They said it wasn't true.
Oh.
So
about what? That Cedar Lake has no water?
Right.
And that
they cannot do any more development because they don't have water.
I would direct you to go to YouTube. Let's see here.
Is YouTube a credible source?
When the meeting is actually broadcast and live streamed, I would hope so.
Okay.
I don't think that they, doctored it up. They could have. I don't know. But let's see. Where is this? I believe this was August 19th. Yes, August 19th, 2025.
Okay, not too long ago.
Was a whole meeting. I sat there for at least 2.5 hours of Cedar Lake's new water plan that they were required to do because IDEM has shut them down because they cannot develop because there is no water. Cedar Lake has 4 different distinct water, tanks or water treatment plants. None of them are connected. You have to, and these are things that I heard in the meeting. I'm not making them up, folks. You can go ahead and listen to it, where they are actually concerned that if you have a fire after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you better pray that you don't, because people have used water by then, and the water tanks aren't necessarily full. And IDEM, you can look, I've got the documents that say IDEM, the problems that Cedar Lake had.
And just for those who don't know, Indiana Department of Environmental Management.
So they cannot develop because they don't have the water. You heard people talking about, my water is gray, my water is rusty, I don't have any water pressure.
Okay.
And they had to have this plan. So they've got, the 2 to 3 year thing that they can correct, fairly immediately. Then the plans along the way and how much money this is going to cost. I don't know whether it will be through development or, whatever.
Well, I don't think the phone lines are lit up with the same individual who claimed that you didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay, well,
Randy Niemeyer disputed that and what have you. But
I encourage Mr.
I
Niemeyer.
appreciate you coming on to
he was,
clarify.
Mr. Niemeyer, or, Randy was not at the meeting. I would think he'd have wanted to be at the meeting. I know that. And one of the things that, residents had told me at the meeting was when they made a nice big, police and fire station brand new, they couldn't connect it for a year. Why? Because there was no water. So you would think that he'd have wanted to be there, but he wasn't.
What was that commercial? Got milk. With that said, till next time.
Okay. All right, we out? All right, cool.
We do have to call it a wrap, folks.
Do a proper sign off.
No, I'm just teasing. That was a commercial they used to have, and Randy is in the milk business, so that's the only reason I said it. They don't have water, but they do have milk. So, but that was just me putting in a little shade.
Yeah,
nothing serious.
Anybody is welcome to do it. They can, they can call IDEM. They can ask for the documents. That's fine. If you think I'm crazy, well, I don't know. There's a whole meeting that will tell you otherwise.
Well, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. So, folks, you heard it from the owner, from the boss of Adriana. He's kind of taking a break from Tuesdays, and you are stuck with Michelle, Adriana, and myself. Now, if you don't like it, I apologize.
Hey.
No, I don't apologize.
Well, no,
if you don't like it,
you don't have
tough.
to listen.
What is the name of our show going to be?
Well, we
don't
were
know.
waiting for some suggestions, and we're going to leave that to you to come up with a few so we can pick from.
And next time, I think I keep looking at myself here. I got to not wear a shirt that matches my hair color. This is looking bad.
Wait, you know what? I actually like that. And this is a hard time for me, this transition, because we're in fall, but it's hot. It's 80 degrees. So it's like, do you put on summer clothes still? or do you put your fall boots on? Can you
Right.
wear sandals? Or,
Right. It's like I had my other Birks, my clogs, but it's not.
It's hard. I mean, I have a tank top on,
Right.
but I put a sweater on because, we're on the air.
Right.
But it is tough for women. Men
Yeah.
just throw on a shirt and go.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to make light of some of the things women deal with. We can't
No.
just roll out of bed, not comb our hair, and not put makeup on,
Well,
even
we
though you
can't.
don't wear makeup. But Adriana and I do.
Oh, I was doing it while you guys were talking.
When
I see.
when I sub, I do actually put makeup on.
You do?
I
Okay.
I do. I try to go and not look like I rolled out of bed and slapped a headband in. I actually make an effort.
But I
So.
do like the gray with the gray hair.
Well, thank you. I
I
like
love
looking
your
at 'em
hair
like,
color.
"Ew, I look gross.
No, you don't. You
So.
don't. Not at all.
Thank you.
But we will be back next Tuesday.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we might have a new show name. I'll throw some ideas out there to you too, and then
Well, let's
we'll-
have 3. Let's actually do it this way. Why
could
don't you
have a
come up
vote.
with 3 ideas and we'll take some votes over the air, and then we'll still decide whether or not we like what the vote outcome is.
Okay, sounds good.
So we'll just show you how democracy really works. You can vote, but you
That's
don't
right.
necessarily get what you want.
Oh, can I say one more thing before
Yes,
we
of
take
course.
off? Hey, if you don't want to go the ice route for, getting your nuts, sorry, Jim, you can, as this Dutch woman is doing, you can create your own AI actor or actress, and you can get yourself a movie contract. I'll just read this graph. Tilly Norwood is an actress that you may not have heard of, despite her being a willing and able actress who is now at the center of talks from multiple talent agents. Well, actually, she isn't an actress, but an AI-generated performer. But the rest of it is correct. The hyper-realistic, computer-generated creation is now on the verge of getting her own agent in Hollywood.
So how will we be able to tell the difference between real and fake?
Uh-huh.
It's going to
Won't that be fun?
really interesting to follow. I want to send condolences out to the Gomez family on the loss of Mike Gomez. Very familiar individual in the city of East Chicago and around the region. His dad passed away some years ago, and his mother, many people know Margaret Gomez with her
Yeah.
dance troops and everything. Just such a tragic loss. His uncle, Jesse Gomez, on the school
Yeah.
board in East Chicago. Just a well-known family. Have a street named after the parents in East Chicago. And such a tragic loss.
Yeah,
So definitely condolences on the loss of Mike Gomez.
indeed. I have Boo has some ideas for our show.
Okay.
Grabbing
Adriana, here's a couple of names.
Okay. Grabbing the News with Verly, Michelle, and Adriana.
Oh, that was a low one. That's sort of like
Oh,
the
no,
pity.
no.
Grabbing the news.
Squeezing the Stories with Verly, Michelle, and Adriana.
Oh, see, that was another low blows to one of our listeners.
Palming the powers that
Oh
be.
my goodness.
Does that mean?
That's from my little buddy. So.
Okay.
Oh,
little buddy
that's
submitted those.
funny. I love those.
Oh, wait.
We
he's got
won't
one
use
more.
any of them, but we'll save them for somebody else. They might want to use it in
Wait,
the
he
future.
may have another one.
The text
Okay, I'm not
bubble's
going to say that
going.
one. But
Oh, you can't say it, Michelle? Is it that bad?
Fondling
Oh,
NWI.
okay.
Too cute.
There we
So,
are. So we're 1 minute out.
there we go. All right. Well, I'll shut up now.
We'll let you wrap it up. Do we have any? Can you give us a final update on traffic and weather for people
Yes,
out there who
we
are just tuning
can.
in?
So weather's going to stay the same, high 80s. I don't think we're going to see fall anytime soon.
I hope
so
it's like
mad I
this on the 30 for Halloween.
Sure.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, please.
Yes.
Please. But take a look at our traffic. We do have a slowdown on the inbound on the Dan Ryan Stevenson I-55 south before I-49, the Dan Ryan Expressway, exit 292. That was about 14 minutes ago. So there's a bit of slow traffic going up that way. We still got a little bit of slow traffic as well on I-57 south as well. And also, Eisenhower Expressway going east is still going slow by Central Avenue. It did clear up a little bit on west. We still have a little slowdown on Austin Boulevard as well. And you're going to see 57 North right there by the connector to the Dan Ryan Expressway is going to be slow. And we are seeing that 94 East by West Fullerton Avenue and going towards the airports are going to be a bit slow, but that's also just because it is the morning traffic.
And they're supposed to open up some of those lanes as well.
Yeah. Traffic in the Northwest region is looking pretty good. We're not really seeing any slowdowns, really. We may have a little bit on I-65 South, 20 West, but I think it's because they're doing construction over there. So that's going to cause that slowdown just a little bit. But that's your final update on traffic and weather.
Well, stay tuned tomorrow morning because Adriana will be
Not tomorrow,
hosting
Thursday.
her show. Oh, Thursday. I'm sorry. That's Tom Dabberton tomorrow. My apology.
Yep,
I was thinking it was continuous dates.
Oh goodness, no! I need a little time to prepare.
We'll see if we're shut down tomorrow.
That's right. Yep. The federal government, will they pass a budget this evening, or are we going to be on a shutdown, and will the military start running the country?
Yeah.
Remember, the president's meeting with all the generals
it's
today.
Supposed to be rah, 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 shish kumbah.
So we'll see.
You got to call them in from all, avenues, all corners of the world to show up in person to get a pep talk.
I bet they have printouts of all their social media, so he can probably say which ones are going to retain their stars and stripes, or are they going to stars and bars, I should say, or are they going to say, hey, that oak leaf, whatever they have for their rank, the highest ranks.
Yep.
Are going to be able to stick around.
Freedom of speech, y'all.
Freedom of speech. We didn't even get to talk about that, but we'll save that for next week because it's not going away, folks.
Nope, sure isn't.
Retribution for your freedom of speech is not going anywhere. So we'll put a bookmark right there.
All right.
Until next time.
Enjoy your week, y'all.
Bye.